And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Let me know, first and foremost, let me know how I sound, if everything sounds okay. It feels really weird after 6 weeks of streaming the VZBot build and having this whole setup with Steve, going back to solo streaming. So I think everything is working the way it should be. Also, the fact that we're streaming 4 hours later than we typically do has me, like, my brain is just all over the place. But let me know if everything sounds okay and everything's working. Someone said that the link was broken to the product page. Is this printer the new KP3S? Yes. Okay, everything's cool. Everything looks, okay, awesome. Everything's great. Who's all here today? We got PF, we got Jose's in the house. We have got 3D, Jerry's here. 3D Experiments, Nazo, Brian, Aaron, Ken, Scott's here. Shammy's in the house, CB. Yeah, their site is trying to be too smart. I had to explicitly change the USA site in order to get the link to work. Otherwise, it tries to show me. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Hey, 3D Printing Belgians here. What's going on? Yeah, so a few things here. A couple of, like, what is it? What do we say? Like, housekeeping stuff first. So, today's stream is going to be a pretty laid back stream. I have my full, at least initial review of this printer. I've had it for about 3.5 weeks, I think now. It was ready to go today, but I had a feeling that it was going to be a race to get videos out, and I'm sticking with my regular schedule. So for anyone that wants to see my full, it's a 20-minute video. It'll be live on Saturday at the regular time. So I just didn't want to get in the race of all videos coming out. So the game plan today is, I'm sure a lot of people have watched videos on this. If there's questions that you have, I feel pretty proficient in the way this machine works and sort of what makes it ticks and all of the tech that's inside of it for the most part. So I'm happy to answer questions. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty laid back stream. We're going to print. I'm definitely going to fire up the Speed Benchy. I would like to see if we can slice just a relatively simple model and tech out the 10K 500 millimeters per second claim, because I actually did not. All of my printing that I did with this was using just the stock profiles, which were like 6K cap acceleration. So we can do that and see if we make the wheels fly off. Also, I got an STL. I got an STL a moment ago from, it's Pex Peppers, right? If I don't want to say, yeah, Pex Peppers sent me a STL that I haven't looked at yet. That's multicolor, so we can test that out as well and see if you want to see the multicolor. I'm pretty much up for whatever. After having fairly technical streams for the last couple of months here, like, it's just nice to have hopefully a little more laid back stream. So that is basically the initial plan. Other things that I think are important are, for one, the scheduling on Wednesday streams time-wise is going to be weird for the foreseeable future. Anyone that didn't see my post, Erin went back to work, and so when she's at work, I'm on Jackson duty. We don't have anybody really to watch Jackson during like stream time, so her schedule is going to be shifting, which means that Wednesday's time frame will be shifted up or down based off whether she's working Wednesdays and what time. The good news is that once she gets going here, she told me that she'll have like a 3 weeks in advance schedule, so I can relatively early on map out a time frame for Wednesdays. And my goal is always going to be to stream earlier than later, because I don't want to cut out a huge portion of Europe, which has watched these streams, because we've streamed midday for the entire 1.5 to 2 years that we've been streaming. So that's what's going on there. G Funny, thank you for the gifted membership. Also nice having you here. I know it's later over there now. The other thing that's kind of interesting, I don't have a lot of information on, is that we were informed this last week that the owners of this house that we've been renting are selling this house. Although they told us that we could stay here until the house that we're under contract with, because we did purchase a house, would be done next year, and that's no longer happening. So I don't know what that means. If this house is going to sell, they said we can stay here until it does. But I don't have a lot of info. I just want to let everyone know that things might be a little bit more sporadic than normal over the coming months, because there's just a lot of new variables that got introduced fairly quickly here. So everything's going to be fine. I just, again, wanted to at least let everyone know, and I'll do my best to inform everybody when I've got more information. So let's see. Shammy, that box next to you looks really familiar. Yes, that is other exciting news. Hey Viking, hey Dutch, PF Dennis, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Cheers. Okay, so a few things I want to really quickly show off is is our very own Shammy reached out to me after the last VZBot stream and said that he wanted to send over some LEDs for the VZBot build. And so I got this cool care package in, and he sent over, let's see if I can show these off kind of. So I've got 2 red PC bead. These are rainbow disco sticks. So these are going to be going into the 2.4, the LDO Voron 2.4. Then I got, he sent over 2 black daylight on a sticks, which are going to be going into the VZBot, which is going to be awesome because that thing totally needs some light. We've got ourselves a Voron PCB ruler, super legit. I'm very excited to be able to use this. Thank you very much. And then there's some other goodies in here. We got a couple stickers. We got, what else is in here? This looks like printed Voron logo. I don't know. Is this just a badge, or is it I don't know if it's it looks like it's more of a badge. Let me know if there's a function to this. I see the corners look specific, so I wonder if it's a measurement tool as well. And then we've got, what else? We've got the, ooh, that's cool. This is the Zoll, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, toolhead block, which is what I plan on running on the Cyborg Trident. Once we do the initial build with the Stealth Burner, we're going to be switching out the toolhead, so that's super cool. Thank you. And then this looks like a lot of fun. What is this? Dr. Dave's disco skirt? I don't know what that is, but that is a ton of LEDs. This is gonna be awesome. I'll have to take a look at that. And then we've got Stepstick NeoPixel. Okay. Oh, sweet. Interesting. So it's in the form factor. Hold on. I want to look at this really quick. It's in the form factor of a step stick. I also chat stopped scrolling, so I missed a bunch of stuff. Okay, let's see what this is. It's in the form factor of a step stick, and looks like it has a few JST connectors. Interesting. So does this let you power, like if you've got a spare slot, it lets you power LEDs off that slot? That's really cool if that's the case, because there's definitely boards that I've used that don't have enough or don't have RGB slots, and if you can do that, that's super cool. So yeah, if anyone, he didn't ask for any kind of a shout out, but I'm going to be doing it. His website is XR Bunker, and if you are looking to get some LEDs or any of the PCBs shown, there's a bunch of other PCBs as well. Definitely check him out, and I'm going to copy and paste this. Copy and paste this right here into the chat. So thank you very much, Shammy. I'm super excited. Again, the LDO 2.4 kit came with LED strips, but they're just plain and they're not real nice. So these are much nicer. Timit's Brilliant Mind. Yeah, that's super cool. That's the first time I've ever seen that. And I'm also really curious about this disco skirt. It just sounds like a lot of fun. So we've got that. All right, let's quickly here. I don't know like what I should be covering about this, because again, I've got a full video going over it, but I guess a brief presentation. This is the Bambu Lab A1 Mini, which was launched today. It is the latest in their lineup. It's a cantilever style 3D printer. I gotta show and talk about this. This is pretty cool. But it's a cantilever style 3D printer with linear rails and X, Y, an X, Z, and Y uses linear guides. It's got powder coated PEI bed with the same sort of, let me show you guys, let's just do a quick little tour around this. I'm gonna give you guys a spec dump as quick as I possibly can. And then we're going to do the speed benchy and chill for a few, and then, yeah, then we'll play around with some stuff. Oops, I should probably turn off autofocus. You guys won't be able to see me for a few here, but I can see chat, kind of, so. Okay, so it's got the same little nozzle cooling plate thing. This is on the Bambu printers, on the like Core XY variants. This is on the bed itself, like the flex plate, while on this version, it's on the back side of the bed. There's also a nozzle scrubber in this case, which is important. Well, it's important in all cases, but they went away with the bed load cells, and instead the load cells is in the tool head. So that it is very important that the nozzle is nice and clean before it does any probing. Regarding the tool head, it's really interesting, like really, really interesting. One, it's very like futuristic looking. I don't know why it makes me think of Portal. I don't know that it's that portally, but it definitely, Shemi, where did I put the box of goodness that you, okay, I put it right here. So yes, the tool head is pretty wild. You're required to print 1 MMU. Is that a thing? Or you want me to paint one for you? Shemi, thank you very much for the 5 Gato memberships. Cheers. Hey, what's up, Maple? So yeah, Toolhead is wild. It's got this little peekaboo window, which is kind of cool because it just makes it look more futuristic, but it does also serve a function where if there's a clog, you can see it, or if you're skipping steps, you can see it. Unlike the other ones that have a magnetic front, this is just sort of like a snap-on plastic clip situation. So if I remember, do I grab from bottom? I think it's from bottom. Yes, and it lifts off like that. The things that are interesting that I think are worth showing. So direct drive using a NEMA 11 motor, so a smaller, kind of interesting stepper motor choice. Toolhead board. The hot end is very odd on this. Not odd, bad odd, but just different. So I actually pulled out. Do you have the see-through version as well? I do have the see-through version. They sent me the retail and see-through. They're the same printer, except the see-through. Man, it would be kind of cool to show that off, I guess. Maybe I'll grab it. It's in the garage. Okay, so this is. Let's focus here. Boop. This is the current Bambu Lab hot end, right? Basically, what's in the P1S, X1 Carbon, and P1P. There's some slight differences, at least in the plugs, but essentially this is it. You can see the thermistor and heater cartridge, you've got the heatsink, and then you've got the heat block area, or the hot zone. This is the new one. And so it is a smaller heatsink. It has a magnet embedded into the heatsink. It's longer. I think I measured, it's in the video I gave you the schematics, exactly how much longer it is, but it's quite a bit longer. It's much narrower, as you can see, and the interesting thing, which you can potentially see right now, is that there is no thermistor or heater cartridge at all. It's a separate assembly that stays inside of the toolhead, and the reason for this is to allow for swapping out without the risk of damaging any of the connectors. Because if you don't have a Bambu printer, the current lineup has fairly fragile. I mean, look at these. You can just see these cables. They're quite delicate. And someone that's not used to, like coming from building 3D printers or, just tinkering with things, it's kind of intimidating just unplugging these from a PCB board. So with this, it's like, cool, there's no wires. So the way you swap it out is simple. Let's see. He likes himself and his Ender 3. Let's see, let me make something. That's an odd looking hot end. I agree, it is a strange looking hot end. What temps do they run up to? It should be 300 Celsius on the hot end. I actually didn't realize, even in all my testing, because this is not meant to be enclosed and they don't advertise it as ABS, but I think that someone said it caps out at 80 C on the bed, which is kind of odd to me. I feel like it could get hotter, or like it should be capable of getting hotter, but it is a thin bed, and I'm wondering if that's also part of it, that there's concerns with if you are going much hotter than that for long periods of time, it could actually deform the bed. I don't know, that's totally speculation. But the interesting thing with this is, so to swap out a hot end, you take off the silicone sock, and of course it's going to look more complicated than it is because I'm right-handed using my left hand from a weird angle. But yeah, silicone sock comes off, and then it's this sort of like just simple clamp system. So you use your finger to pop that clamp off, this little latch or whatever, and then you grab it. Let's see if I can do it. It just pulls out. It's easier if you have the direct angle, but the thing just pulls out. And so to swap it back in, if this is open, and it's going to be a little awkward too because I've still got a tiny bit of filament sticking out here, but you basically just place it in here. See if I can do it. There we go. Place it in there. The magnet holds it in place, right? You swing the door, and then you... Of course, it's not going to work on me because I'm... There we go. You swing the door, and then it locked in place, and it's changed. So, if you are if you've done it once or twice, realistically, I mean, it's like a 10 to 15 second swap. It's wild. I've never seen anything like this. And I do think it's very cool. Steve's in the house, dude. Even though you're not streaming with me, we're still here. I was just saying, thank you very much also for the 5 memberships and Zombie for the banana. Everyone say hi, Steve. We miss Steve. I was just saying the first thing when I went live that, boy, after 6 weeks of back-to-back Steve twice a week for streaming, it feels real lonely on this island. So yeah, the things that I question or scratch my head on are sort of how they have been able to have a separate thermistor and heater, yet allow it to transfer heat well enough. And I think the key really comes down to the fact that they've changed up the geometry a fair bit of the hot zone. And so by having it longer, they've got more runway, right, for the filament to heat up. And by making it so narrow, it's also going to help with rapidly transferring heat over from essentially the embedded hot zone to this. The thing I'm also very curious about is how complicated it's going to be to replace the heating and thermistor assembly that's in here. I certainly didn't try it in my testing because I have no desire to just rip it out for no reason, but I'm curious to see once that happens. I mean, the good news is, right, if the thermistor and the heater cartridge aren't being moved back and forth or wiggled, and they're in here, it should be fairly difficult to break it, but there is still, defective thermistors, things happen. So I would like to see what the process looks like to swap out that assembly. So we'll see. Other things that are worth showing are, so for cooling, it's a single 50-15, single 50-15 laying basically vertically down below. And the other thing that's super weird, let me go ahead and really quickly pull these out. It said new member. I don't know if that's from, oh, Steve, yeah, Chikaro. I has a AMS Lite question once we get to it. Yep, that sounds great. If you have to, just tell me multiple times as well. If I don't see it the first time, just keep telling me. Please, Aaron, I want to make sure I answer it. Okay, so this is the little AMS adapter, which came already pre-installed. I actually don't know how to remove it. I know how to remove the tubes. The tubes you basically are just pushing down and pushing on these little retention clips on top, and you can just pull them out like so. And then there's a little, it almost looks like a revolver wheel, this guy right here, which holds all of the Bowden tubing, just sort of clean. It's still kind of chaotic, to be honest with you, but it does help hold them in place a little bit more. So let me just unclip these tubes and the AMS lights. Let me turn this off. I'm gonna really quickly actually pull the AMS light because I want to flip this printer on its side, show you guys some stuff. So let me quickly move this out of the way. So, other thing, super interesting, is, let's lean back. How will I show you guys this? Let's not break things. This will probably work. Okay. You got the A1 too. Yes, I've had it for some weeks now. My full, anyone that's interested in my full breakdown on it, I mean, we're going over technical stuff here, but the full video will be on Saturday. It's done. It's ready to rock and roll. So, A1 Pex peppers, barbecue. Oh, that sounds delicious. The heater's inside of the assembly. So the flat portion of this side gets clamped inside of the tool head, and the thing that it's clamped to is the heater and thermistor. So other thing that's interesting is this guy. So that's an eddy current sensor, and I mentioned in my review that the only place I've ever seen one in 3D printing so far has been the beacon probe, which is used for, don't drop it, yeah, I know, it's doing a wheelie. The only place I've seen it is from Annex Engineering and their beacon probe. The one thing I do want to point out though is that they are using, I was very confused initially, because they're using the nozzle for probing and a load cell. They're not using the eddy current sensor in this for leveling whatsoever as far as I'm aware. It's 100% for, well, nearly 100% for filament calibration for pressure advance and for flow testing. Before each print, it purges like any of the Bambu printers, but based off of the sensors and the eddy current sensor, like there's three, God, what did they say? There was three, what other kind of sensors were there on the toolhead? Slipping my mind right now. But essentially based off of the force feedback that the toolhead's experiencing, it can tell whether it's skipping steps or how the flow is with the filament, which is wild. So the nozzle has to really lock in perfect each time then. It does though. You can't, interesting design, look at my board, don't drop it. What is the part cooling fan? It's a 5015. It is a damn fast 5015. The sensor is really cool tech. It just float depending on the pressure inside the hot end. Yeah, it's wild. When they said that, I said, what? And then the only other thing really on this toolhead is, again, just like with the, it uses a cutting system. So actually so this is the purging system, or the poop chute as it would be on the other printer. So it comes over here and the toolhead hits a switch right here, which makes this wall move inward. It's spring loaded. And it purges right here, and then when it releases quickly, it flings the poop off to the side, or the filament that is known as the filament poop. But yeah, so it purges in there when it's doing color changes, it purges in there when it's starting, it purges in there when it's calibrating the filament. And one complaint I had was the stuff flying all over the desk. And the cool thing is, and some of you saw, anybody that has a Bambu printer is probably familiar with the designer through the frame. Let me pull their stuff up really quick here. So I showed off one of their Voron mods a little while back. Let me see if I can, that is not what I wanted to do. Here we go. So through the frame, he has made a ton of Bambu, he's done a ton, hey Nathan. I just completely brain farted. I scrolled out hard. I'm drinking coffee this late in the day, and that is never a good idea for me. So yes, Through the Frame has made a bunch of mods, and just as an awesome designer, both for Bambu, Voron stuff, and he sent me over this file, actually a couple of files, and it is a chute system for this guy. So you have a few options. Basically, let's see, you only need 2 of these. So you have, delete key. Okay, so you have these guys, which you put a little piece of VHB on top here, and it VHBs underneath the side of the machine to hold these little guys in place. And then they have little 3x6mm magnets that stay there. And then you can choose between a bin, a chute, or a, this is using the recycle bracket, which is what I printed out for now. And it's super, super cool. It's quite simple, and again, the way it works, but you've got this, it's slides underneath here. I don't have the VHB on it yet, but it has a perfect little opening. He tells you the exact measurements that you need to cut the spool box, and it just, it fills up everything inside of a box. And it's a fairly compact design, which I really like. I'm very likely going to print out the fully printable version. I didn't have time and was like, I've got a spool box. That's kind of cool to, you know, repurpose a spool for a bin essentially. But yeah, the inner brackets, let me show you guys this. The inner brackets, oh, I should probably switch scenes, huh? That's how it works. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, so the inner brackets, once they're VHB'd, won't be coming on or off. It'll just be the outer guys. Let's see if I can hold it in place with my hands. Yeah, but you got the magnets, and then it will just slide back in place. So really neat design. He's going to be releasing this on Friday. But I was chatting with him, and he was kind enough to send over a version so that I can show it off. But for anybody that is picking up one of these, he again does awesome work, and so far I'm really liking this setup. Did you consider laser cutting the cutout with the X tool? That would be a great idea. Honestly, I because Aaron went back to work today and I was on dad duty. I was on dad duty pretty much all day. I didn't get a chance to. I just got these files today, so I haven't had much chance to think at all. But that is a very great idea as well, just laser cutting a box for it as well. Nizo, did I test the noise cancellation? Yes, so we can go through, if you guys want to, as much as I want to print, I also like we're hanging out, and it doesn't really matter what we do as long as everyone's happy, as much as we possibly can make everyone happy. I'm brain farting hard now. Noise cancellation, yes. So the noise cancellation for the motors is pretty rad. However, so a few funny things about my review when you see it. I didn't actually have specs for the machine, and I don't know if anyone had full specs for the machine until it launched today. So I had rough specs, and I filled in the gaps based off of my own observation. And yeah, there just wasn't nearly as much info to go off of. It was a lot of like probing and just figuring it out. And I definitely asked a handful of questions, which I included in the video for just some like holes in things that I wasn't fully understanding. I don't actually think that this printer during normal operation with the profile in Bambu Studio is that quiet. It's not that quiet. A lot of people I saw were talking about how quiet it is, and the motion is pretty damn quiet for moving at like, you know, 6 to 8,000, 6 to 8K acceleration with like 300 or 400 millimeters a second speeds. Maybe not quite that quick, but it's quiet in that regard. But the 5015 blower fan is loud. Like no matter how you slice it, if you're printing things that have steep overhangs or bridging of sorts, I recorded in my video, it was just with my phone about a foot away, and I think I was getting between 50 to 55 decibels during normal printing, and when the fan was maxed on, I was getting about 61 decibels. So I only recently started like using my phone as a metric. Before I was just kind of gauging like, it's loud, it's quiet, this printer. But in my opinion, I wouldn't say it's quiet. Like it's, again, compared to maybe current Bambu or like certainly the Neptune 4 that we just reviewed that has like 4 fans on the back. Yes, it's quieter than that. But if you were wanting to print quickly on this and you're wanting to use the airflow to make sure your parts look good, it generates noise. But the motor thing is very cool, and we can also, can I show the Z motor? I can't show it. It's completely closed into the base. I can show it. I have a clear version of this, which I can grab. Do you guys want, if you want to, no matter how you slice it, so this thing's interesting look. It looks like a Persimmon and a snap maker had a baby. Yeah, it's very, I very much so like the look of it. It's certainly unique and futuristic looking. I can see how someone can look at this and feel strongly one way or another because it sort of is an like odd look, but I think it looks pretty cool. The question I've got is, do we want to go through the initial setup process? I can, if that's something there's interest in, I can certainly reset it. I also have the clear version of this in the garage that I can start a print on one, and then we can play around with that one. What do you guys want to do? Let's start printing, Zombie says. Let's tear down the bad boy and see it. Tear the clear one down while you print. I don't want to tear the clear one down, Zombie. I'm fine with showing it. How fast does it print the boat? Okay, let's get, I won't even hook up the AMS Lite right now to this one. Let's just get a benchy printing on this, and I'll go grab the clear one, and then I'll slide this guy off to the side, and we can play around with the other one on the edge here. I think that's the move. It's gonna get a little tight space. You know what? We can also, okay, I've got an idea. We don't need quartz down here, do we? So we're not building a printer today. Let me see if I can, I'm gonna try to lift with my legs. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. I've gotten so used to leaving this on here, but the reality is I initially only had this big piece of quartz on here for when we were doing frames to make sure they were nice and square. Oh. Okay, that gives us a little bit more room to play around with. Not a ton, but I can sort of slide things over a bit more here. Okay, that'll do it. Okay, so let's get this going. Does it print upside down? I'm sure. Got to get some sleep. So yeah, hey, no worries, Jose. I am going to, I won't know what time we're streaming next Wednesday until Erin gets her new schedule, which I'm hoping will be this weekend. So my goal is to move streams earlier than versus later, because again, I understand even with the normal stream time, it's tough for a lot of the viewers, but I'm gonna do my best. So as soon as I know, I will let you know. Have a great night. Steve's rubbing off on you. Gotta have the quartz for the entire build. Well, it's maybe partially, and I also just don't want to. I don't want to moving. It's not super fun. Another thing I know that a lot of people complained about with the P1P and P1S is the save your knees, lift with your back, quick jerking motions. Did I not? Wait, save your knees, lift with your back. Let's see. Flip upside down while printing. Yeah, cheers. Okay. What'd you say, CB? What did I miss? Sorry, there's a lot going on. But yes, they got rid of the style of screen they've used on the last two printers and went with a touchscreen again. It's very clear touchscreen and has a nice viewing angle. The nozzle is longer on here, so maybe a little bit more wasteful. Oh, someone asked about, is that what it was? The question was about purge. Sorry, I'm not, I promise you I'm not intentionally. I think I think that the purging is very similar. We can slice something up if you want in the Bambu Studio and see what it says as far as purging goes. The purging is smaller on this, but more, it seems like instead of one long purge that goes into a shoot, it does a few smaller purges. So I think I don't see how it can be any different. Again, I know you said the hot end, maybe it takes a little bit more to clear it out, but I think it's negligible. But I think it's very, very similar. Yeah, super similar. Okay, let's see. So let's go ahead and go to filament and let's load some PLA. So it's heating up. Looks like it should be in the hospital room pumping fluids. Shoot, man. Yeah, it's I mean, one thing I really, another thing I didn't point out too is for anyone that's curious, it does do the same sort of filament cutting thing. So they took that over. It's on this side. Well, I can't move this because it's on, but the blade's right here, and it uses this guy to cut. Seems so easy to use for 3D printing enthusiasts. Thank you. It was a team effort. Yeah, sorry, CB. Promise. Yeah, it's a lot going on in between the ears today. Yes, it's very much so. I have not done any calibrations, any tuning, nothing at all on this. There's essentially, let's see, 2 screws, 3 screws, 3 screws, I want to say, in total to assemble, not including the 4 on the AMS Lite. And then it does everything else. It does, autos the offset, it does the mesh, it does the flow adjustment, it does the input shaping, it's pretty wild how little. I bet this can print a perfect swatch track. Let me see. All right, so I'm gonna feed it through. So this is, again, without the AMS. There's a sensor in the tool head, so when you get the filament, let's see, what does it say? Warning, please feed from the spool holder until the tool head filament sensor is triggered. Okay, so it's because I didn't have the filament in, so retry. Oops. And feed it, pushing. Okay, it's grabbing it now. Let's see. If you have a Prusa Mini, does it fit in the A1 without much fuss? I don't anymore. I quite literally just got rid of my Prusa Mini this week. I have no Prusas. Sold them locally. I've been wanting to get rid of them for a while. I got to get likely tune back in later, everyone. Remember that like button. Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Let's see. Okay, so now it's telling you if you see any filament coming out, you're good. It doesn't have to be this right color filament. It just wants to make sure that it's actually grabbed the filaments pushing through. So you click done, and then it'll start to purge. Linear rails was a nice touch. Yeah, the linear rails are super rigid. I've said this before, I am not a big fan, generally speaking, of cantilever printers. Like, I got the Prusa Mini 2 years ago and was expecting to love it based off of everything I'd heard, and I did not really like it. The Ratrig V Minion has absolutely won me over, and the KP3S is a fun printer to hack up. They did good by going with beefy linear rails. Like, I can't remember, I measured it and I forget now. Let's use, let's see here. Oh. So this is like 15 millimeter Z linear rail. So it's a 15 millimeter rail, and I think 12 for X. And the tower is pretty rigid aluminum, which makes a huge difference. If you sold your Prushas, what printers do you have left? Mostly custom builds that we've done on the channel. Like Vorons and Bambus, pretty much, is a lot of what I've got left. We're having to move. Well, we're already planning on moving in about 5 or 6 months, but we just found out that they're putting this house up for sale. So yeah, I slimmed down to primarily custom builds. Hey, LaBobby, what's up, buddy? Thank you for the donation. Yeah, so one second. Let's get a print going, and then I'm gonna get distracted, and it's like, it's been an hour and he hasn't done anything in typical our stream fashion. Okay, so you can set the filament type and color. So under edit, you can say, hey, this is just, well, it's not generic. This is going to be Bambu Lab. It's PLA, and you can set the color. So green, if you want to. It doesn't really make a difference. I mean, I guess it's more if you're in the slicer, that way it can sync up with this. Cool. So now it's that. We'll go back. We'll hit print. And we will go, so these are things I printed out during testing. So let's go down to the things they sliced. Speed benchy. Cool. Let's do this because it's fun. So this will do bed leveling and dynamic flow calibration, which you don't have to do dynamic flow calibration each print. It's just when you swap filaments. So you can choose to turn it on or off. Heck no. No way am I getting the VZ. Pretty much any printer I've built, I am way too attached to give away, sell, or donate or anything like that. So yeah, all the Vorons, the V Minion, the VZ, likely the Second Cube, I like all of those. Yeah, it's mostly just, oh, the Merc. The Merc is absolutely coming with me. The Bambus are coming with me. Yeah, it was mostly just printers like, again, the Prushas and a few other i3s that I've had for a long time. I know I love Steve Builds, but he did keep you. He, dude, absolutely did. Absolutely did. Hey, Luke. I think I said hey, Luke. If I didn't, I'm saying it again. Okay, so what are we doing now? We're heating. We're heating. Bed is climbing. Burp. So we'll get this printing, then I'll go grab the clear cased one so we can take a look at that. And the clear case is kind of cool because it allows you to see inside of the electronics a little bit more. Also, maybe before I do that, I'll bring the AMS Lite up here so we can take a look at it. I know Aaron said that he had some questions, and we can take a look at that. Have you gotten your residual? Oh, your serial? No, I submitted. So I did submit for my VZ serial 2 days ago, I want to say. And I didn't read the requirements. it was late, and I saw Steve mention it, so I was like, cool, here's the stream video, and here's the VZ. So Simon did tag me last night asking for some additional pictures, which I need to get. I had the Mercury 1.1 up here for a video that I'm working on, so I didn't get a chance to move it and bring the VZ up, but I need to do a few things to get the serial. Did you get Beta, Bambu Slicer, and Bambu Handy? I did, yes. We can take a look at that. That's actually what this is here, but there's nothing really unique about it other than that it's got the A1 Mini profile. It's got, along with the base profile, why are we not doing this? Okay. It's got the 0.2, 0.6, and 0.8 profile for the different nozzles. And then you've, again, got the ability to connect to it, A1 Mini. And then the camera, Bambu source not correctly registered for me playing. Okay. I screwed around with some settings earlier that I think might have messed things up. Will this work? It is. Hello. So yeah, you can see the it's a pretty low, very, very low actually, frame rate. I think I'm not entirely positive, but I think it's going to be almost the same one that's in the P1S and P1P. So certainly not getting any crazy time lapses, but good enough to check in on your print if you want to. Okay, let's go back to side view. Steve already has his serial, so has me. Got the one right before. Oh, what? I wanted to get, okay, let's check out the starting sequence is kind of interesting. So nozzle, every time it nozzle probes, does it 3 times. I need to get mine. Okay, so it's doing input shaping. It does input shaping before every print, similar to the P1P or X1, but not, it doesn't do full input shaping. It seems like, compared to the initial input shaping you do when you set this up, it's a much quicker one, and I think it's primarily checking to see whether you've moved your printer or like the location around it's changed, because earlier I moved it from on top of the quartz slab to a different section, and it messaged me saying, hey, your Y resonance compensation, it seems like it's changed. So I think it's primarily just a check. So now it's rubbing the nozzle on that metal part, doing a nozzle scrub, and now it's cooling down the nozzle on the back plate. It's pretty similar to what the current Bambu does, just instead of using the PTFE to scrub it, it uses I don't know what it is, it's some sort of rubber brush. And it does a 6x6. It does it before every print. I don't, as of right now, no, actually, I think you can turn it off. I just haven't. It's a very fast 6x6. Like, it does 3 points at each section, and it does a 6x6, and the leveling's been really good. So I just haven't had it in me to not do it. Like, it's such a, for an extra maybe minute or so of, probing, I think it's worth it. Also, Zombie, I don't know, let me see if Zombie's back. Zombie, if you're back, say here. Just so you know, I can't hear anything you're saying because my speaker, it's on the page, it checks for belt tension. Oh, okay, interesting. Slideshow, but still comes in handy for monitoring. Yeah, it is not a great camera. It's there, it checks the box. And again, if you check in on it from your app or the slicer, you can see that there's a spaghetti mess, if there's a spaghetti mess, and you can stop it. Or, if there's no print on the bed and it's air printing, but it's certainly not for, gorgeous, it's not for gorgeous time lapses. So Zombie, I finally purchased UForge. This is from the A1 Mini. I showed in my full video on this. I'm very, very happy. I obviously have a lot to learn when it comes to the color blending, but I finally broke down and bought a license. I did level the bed. Sorry to leap a bit. Have we covered the filament poop bucket? Yes. So it doesn't come with one, but Through the Frame, who does a lot of awesome mods, has created a few versions of it, and so I have one that we can plug in or put in right here. This is a cardboard box version of it. And so, okay, right now it's doing the filament calibration. Calibrating extrusion is what it says. And so it's basically extruding the filament, stopping. It does different speeds while it's extruding. Is that a picture of Zombie? No. So I used one of the AI generators, and my prompt was Bigfoot walking through a meadow with a big smile on his face. One second, let me get this here. Bigfoot walking through a meadow with a big smile on his face with mountains in the background in a cartoonic style. Yeah, not Zombie, but Bigfoot. Yeah, I was super, super happy with it. I'm thinking about doing some for Jackson's room, like different dinosaurs. I had it generate some dinosaurs and sunglasses the other day. Let me bring you guys closer. Boop. That's me on a bad beard day. Does it still poop when starting up? Yes, it does. It does, because before, well, even I've ran filament calibration, I think almost every print, regardless of whether I'm switching filaments or not. But I imagine that even if you're not running your filament calibration, it's still going to purge before each print just to get things flowing correctly. It does do a small purge line, but it is very, very small. Most of the purging is done in that. Yeah, I don't know why the Benchy's not centered. I'm assuming that this is intentional. Bambu doesn't seem to really do things like just for fun. They do things like for specific reasons, so I have no idea if it's like some sort of optimized spot for the cooling, or I don't know. But yeah, it's like that. I know it's weird. Can you remove your mic noise canceling so we can hear? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Plastic? Or Pushing Plastic. How's it going? I can't wait for Earth. Got my tickets. Nice. Yeah, so let me turn off the noise cancellation. We've got Rode mic, filters, noise suppression off. Okay, so hopefully I sound a little different because I turned off noise suppression. This is, I'm about 1 foot away. Oh, you can't see it, can you? I'm about 1 foot away from it. It's not very loud. This is with the fan going pretty quickly as well. The primary noise, it's not very loud for a printer printing this fast. It's making noise. Like again, the issue with is a printer loud or not is such a like up to who you're asking, right? Like coming from A60, what are they? Not A64. What's the I can't even think of the old step-stick drivers that used to be in all of the ramps boards I was using, where the printers were like screaming at you every time they moved. It's much quieter than that, but again, it's still not noiseless, especially at these speeds. Yeah, the fan, absolutely. If you turn off this fan, which I won't do because it'll totally screw up the Benchy, it motion-wise is pretty dang quiet. It is pretty darn quiet. So hopefully that's hopefully that gives a good enough sort of example of the noise. Yeah, 49. Okay, A4988s. That's what it was. It was A4988s. Dude, those things were loud. When I lived with filament, this is Bambu Lab PLA Basic. This is their filament. When I lived with my buddy, I remember him telling me when he walked down the hall that it sounds like robots. He said, it sounds like robots are making love in your room. Because it was like my 3 printers on this rickety rack with A4988s all going at the same time. It just sounded awful. I might be attending the Lightburn conference in Peoria. Peoria is about a 3-hour drive from my house. Are you going to be there? Yes, I will be there. That's awesome. I heard that a few others might be there too. I won't say any names because I don't know if they've announced it or not. But yeah, I will absolutely be there. Tripods. I ordered. I booked my flight many months ago when LBX was first announced. But I believe I'm there Wednesday through Monday. But I will absolutely be there for the entire event. I'll be working. I don't know what job they're going to give me yet. But yes, I will absolutely be there. So if you do end up going, please let me know. It'd be cool if we can grab a bite. Oh, I should turn my noise cancellation back on. Let's see. So while this is printing, I'm going to go run to the garage and grab the clear version. So we can take another look at that and maybe go through the initial setup process with that one so you guys can see how it does the motor cancellation. So I'm gonna take my fan off really quick and nope, not my fan. I'm take my mic off really quick and I will be right back. So give me 1 second. Also, what time is it? Okay, we've only been streaming for 50 minutes. So in another 40 minutes, we will open up, we're gonna do a Polymaker giveaway. It's still Wednesday. So I will open up the giveaway in 40 minutes. Be right back. So I have not set up, I thought when I first got these in, I set up both of them. I've never set up this clear one, so we can go through the setup process for real. The only thing I want to point out is that I was told that, hey, what's up, Printer Prawn? Hey, it's Cookie. Let's see, so, okay, Benchy's still going. Let me try to shift things around a little bit here. The only thing I want to point out is that I was told that the clear version I'm going to show you guys is, what was that? Did we get a clog? That was weird. I've never seen it do that before. It looked like what did I miss? Did anyone see what just happened? What just happened? It looked like it did the nozzle, oh yeah, the nozzle screwed up. Weird. It looks like a little piece of the filament on the top portion curled up, so I think nozzle hit it. That's interesting. That didn't even make it into my video. I didn't realize that it has skip step detection. I don't think that that was something that they even mentioned. Oh, it definitely skipped a step. Yeah, no, it absolutely did. That's interesting. Huh. I don't know. We'll probably let it finish then and run it the exact same thing again. I'm curious to see if that was a fluke or there's something going on. But it definitely does a... it definitely has some sort of step recovery because I heard like a clink sound, and so it must have instantly caught it, went and homed itself, and then resumed. But yeah, this is... We'll let it finish, although it's definitely skipped. While this is going on, let me move this to the side. Let's go through the setup process on this one. So this one is one that I was sent that I have not used. It is, I was told, a early version or a prototype, but I think it's pretty dang near close to a final version. But I do want to point that out. The only visible differences, other than the clear shell that I'm seeing, is that the extrusion on this one has a number etched on the back of it, which is not in the final version. And I think that might be it. Oh, I wonder if this is what caused it. I doubt it. There was a piece of filament on the Y rail. I doubt that's what caused it, but I wonder if that's what caused it. Anyways, let's move this to the side. So yeah, it should function the exact same. We'll go through the setup process with this one so you can see it. Do you think it has encoders on the motor shafts, or are they closed loop steppers? I don't think they're closed loop steppers. I think it has encoders. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped about this prototype one. I had no plans on printing with it. I hope you guys know that. I was just going to leave it on a shelf because it reminds me of the retro video game consoles. I used to clear shell mod a bunch of them. I love seeing this very like retro looking thing. But we'll run through the setup. Here's the for anyone that wanted to see this though, because it's a clear shell, we can actually see the Z motor. There's the Z motor. So it looks like a flex shaft. It looks like it's a flex shaft coupler, which is odd to me. I don't like flex shaft couplers, but it doesn't look like your standard flex shaft coupler. And the motor looks like it's a standard NEMA 17. Yeah. Okay, let's do a few things. Let's power this on. I should probably also wipe down the bed really quickly. If it has encoders, it is a closed loop motor. Oh, okay. So then maybe it is a closed... I don't think it's... I don't know what they're doing with the motors. I'm just gonna go with that. I don't know what they're doing with the motors. I know that there's some secret sauce because of the fact that they're able to do like noise cancellation based off of their motors, but I don't know how it functions. I asked for some information, but even for me asking them, some of the more like deep specific technical stuff, I get semi-vague responses, like it's, you know, based off this algorithm we've developed. Yeah, it does remind me of the early N64s. There was like four different semi-clear, right? Like the Donkey Kong Jungle Green, there's a blue. What are we doing here? Okay, we are getting paper so I can wipe the screen down, or wipe the bed down. I don't want to peel the screen off. I want to leave the screen protector on. Oh, come on, man. 1 second. Got crap everywhere. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna just do a quick IPA wipe. Joel Telling liked prototype better. You mean the look? The look-wise or the function? Look-wise, I agree. I understand why they went with all the white though. It's a super clean aesthetic and like it looks less like I feel like the white is more discreet. Which I get why they went with that, but I personally think that the clear, especially for all of us that are already in the 3D printing space, very much so like seeing the inner workings of our of the hardware. So I'll be curious to see if they end up releasing, maybe not exactly like this, but boy, I would love for them to release like a smoky black translucent shell or like some other variants of it. Peel it? No! No! Alright, I'll peel it for you guys. God, peer pressure, man. I'm gonna peel it and then put a big oily fingerprint on it and just leave it there for the rest of the stream. Alright. Alright. Here we go. Where's the little there it is on this side. Okay. For all of you. I'm just gonna leave it like that. We'll leave it like that. That's fine, right? That's all you guys wanted, right? Was just a little peel? That's back. That's it. You got your peel. Look at that. The bubbles are gone. You can hardly see it. What's up, Josh? Eat a bunch of Cheetos. Yeah, I'm gonna lick my fingers. All right, you savages. Here we go. You're gonna see me. I'm gonna forget that the stream's on. I'm gonna be in here with like a spray bottle and a squeegee, trying to put this thing back on later. There you go. Hey, BBs. Okay, so let's really quickly check out what the heck happened with the initial Benchy. Again, I've never seen that behavior. There was no mention of snap recovery or anything like that, so I don't know what that was. It recovered very quickly, but yeah, you can see the pretty obvious shift in the center of it, or in the front. I wonder if it was that piece of filament. I saw a piece, like a strand of filament that had been purged, looked like it got wedged on the bed, and I'm wondering if that's what caused it. It looks like a single skip in the Y, and that's where I found the filament on the Y rails. So we're gonna run it one more time. We'll be messing around with the other printer in the meantime, so that way we don't have to watch a second Benchy. But I want to make sure that it was likely a freak thing, which I do think it was, considering I haven't experienced this at all, and I've done lots of printing on this guy over the last 3 weeks here. But let's just run it again. It's a 17-minute Benchy, so it's not like it's gonna take that long. And I would like to, if there's an issue, I'd like to make sure that, you know, that I'm aware of it. But let's go. Looks much nicer. Okay, so we're gonna go through again the setup process for this guy. Man, I'm trying to think how I want to show. This is probably fairly good, and I'll just zoom in and out on the screen as needed. Okay, so here we go. Let me make sure I did all the things. So when you get one of these, there's only a few things you have to do. You have to install one screw to get the nozzle poop flinger installed. There's 2 screws that attach the spool holder to the back. You've got a big zip tie that's holding this to foam, like holding the tool head in place. And then there's a bracket, basically a pretty thick bracket that connects the cantilevered arm to the Z tower that's held in by 4 screws. And then it's ready to rock and roll. So let's flip the switch. Is he not recovered from the skip? Look at the cable chain. It is not recovered from the skip. Look at the... Wait, what? Look at the cabin? Also, wait, did I hit print on this? I want to make sure that preparing it says. One second. It says printing. Well, let it sit for a minute. Well, I definitely see up top here, which I didn't see. I don't think it's steel, Josh. I think it's aluminum. I'm almost positive it's aluminum. Oops, God, what am I doing? Here we go. It looks like part of the issue was cooling related. I didn't see that at first. Up top here, those corners, it looks like it was curling a bit, which is usually heat related. So we'll see. Let's run it again and just see what happens. I don't know. Okay, so this one's doing its thing. Yeah, I think it's aluminum. So the AMS, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's aluminum. Is the cooling fan taking air from the backside facing up or down? The cooling fan is facing upwards. Yeah, it's facing upwards towards the X arm. Cables for the tool head look limp. Oh, you mean this guy? Okay, hold on. So a few things. One, there's supposed to be a little attachment piece. I should probably go grab that, huh? It didn't grab it when I was out in the garage. There's a the Bowden tube is missing, as well as the little attachment. Okay, let me grab that. Let's yeah, let me grab that. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to have this little revolver type guy on it. Hey Steve, there is, yes, I have AMS for it. I'm just, because of space constraints, going through the setup process, and then we're gonna pull out the AMS. So yes, this is the little revolver type guy that clips on. So you've got one smaller side that goes onto the toolhead cable, and then you've got the rest of them, which can be used if you're, again, running the AMS, or in this instance, for this one, I'm just gonna grab, one of these is smaller than the rest. I wanna say it's gonna be this guy. Ugh. Yeah, thank you for calling that out. It's not supposed to be the, no, it's not supposed to be hanging down like that, the power cable. It's funny because Rocking My Zombie makes t-shirts today. Nice. I just realized I wore my ModBot hat out today. Sweet. You got merch, Zombie? I gotta get some zombie stuff. It actually also resembles stainless steel. Yeah, I think it's aluminum. I'm almost positive, but again, I'm not entirely sure when it comes to this tower. Okay, so plugging in one side to you. You can go into any of the AMS fittings when you're running in single mode, and then this just clips into there like that. Okay, and this guy's off and running again as well. For anyone that didn't see it, it boogies. I mean, this is the first, finishing up the first layer. Fan's kicking on. So yeah, let me make sure, let me look to see there's nothing on the, okay, Y-Link's completely clear. Should move my Allen keys away, make sure there's nothing that can hit the bed. I just want to make sure that if it happens again, it's not my doing. Okay, so let's go through setup. So that way you guys can see the motor, noise calibration, and all that stuff. So got start menu, bam, English, bam, North America, bam. We'll skip wireless setup for now. Do you agree? Accept the following documents. Scan for content. We're just going to skip. Terms, skip. Okay, so you can, because I'm not going to be using this one primarily, but you can connect it to your wireless network and then the app on your phone as well, which I probably should have done. Let me do it really quick. If we're going to want to print from this from the app, it's going to be easier actually. Yeah, let me go back. Select Wi-Fi. Let me put you guys over here so that way you guys have something to look at. Oh goodness. There we go. Okay. It does have LAN mode for anyone wondering, and it also has micro SD if you don't want to print it all over network. Oops. All right, it's connecting. Doesn't everyone have merch? I do. You do? The heatsink and heatstone come off without wires. Yeah, you'll have to. I showed. Can you show the? I can show it on the clear one too. That's fine. Yeah, let's go through the setup. Well, I'll swap the hot end really quick and then we'll go through the setup because it's gonna heat up during the setup, so it'll be easier to do it now. Let me quickly pair this really, since I've never hooked this up before. Scan QR code. Okay, confirm. A merch hat is 3-color embroidery. Nice. Okay, so it's connected. Please remove 4 screws. All right, so before we do anything else, I will quickly show one more time the hot end. I'm gonna go through it quicker. If you want to see the whole thing, I've got a full deep review coming out on Saturday. It's ready to rock and roll. And then I did cover it earlier in a little bit more detail, but basically, plate comes off, so you just pull from the bottom, lifts right off. Then you've got your silicone sock. So I think the easiest way on this is just to pull it forward towards you. And then this is the crazy hot end. And to remove it, you just move this clasp to the left or to the right. I don't know my directions. And then you can just pull the hot end out like that. This is the entire hot end. It's very similar. I showed it. We'll go quickly through it again. Very similar to the existing Bambu in terms of its overall shape, but slightly smaller heatsink. Oh, cool. Yeah, this is a prototype unit because there's Sharpie on the heatsink and all that. Ooh, and Sharpie on the block. And this one doesn't. Ooh. Yeah, this is different. Okay. So this is not the retail version. This is the retail version. The retail version has a magnet that actually holds it in place while you're doing the swapping portion of it. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it's much longer than the previous Bambu and has no thermistor heater cartridge in it or on it. It's the assembly for that stays inside of the tool head. Stays inside of the tool head. It's wild. So yeah, let me put this guy back in here. That's interesting. That is a very, even the material. I don't know how. I'm curious to see how this is going to perform. It's a different metal as well, or at least it's been treated differently. So, yeah, it's okay. We'll at least run it through the setup process. But yeah, with the retail version, this stays in place via a magnet, and this version. Well, something else is keeping it in place, so they did something else with this one, but let's see if I can get it back in. Yeah, this one's different. Even the heatsink material, it all looks different. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. So it's easier on the final retail version because they added a magnet that sort of helps lock it into place before you've even secured it in place, but it at least gives a general idea of sort of how it operates. Thoughts on the machine? The AMS unit looks challenging even for a beginner. It's really not. It looks scarier because everything's on the outside. I totally get that, but it's not because. Like on the current AMS unit, if you get a clog or break off some filament inside, having to take the thing apart sucks. Like it is not fun. So having all of the feeders and all the tubes external on that sort of, someone called it an exercise bike, which is kind of funny because I can totally see it. It's like a Peloton or whatever. It makes it where troubleshooting it is substantially easier. It's also way more cardboard spool friendly because the entire spool isn't rotating from the bottom, it's rotating from the center point. Yeah, no worries, Josh. Hopefully that was enough to show. And again, that's not, the true experience is a little bit better having the magnet and having it just sort of align in place, but at least that gives a general idea. So let's do the calibration process because I think the interesting part is this initial. So this is the motor calibration part of it. And it starts off at, I think it's 50 millimeters a second. Let's see, so it's gonna home. Yeah, so it starts at 50 millimeters a second and goes up to 300 millimeters a second. And it does this for X and Y. And it's basically, it's applying noise cancellation on and off. So it's on right now. Now it's off. There's no way, and there's just no way I can get this audio on camera with this. But basically, without the noise cancellation algorithm thing they're doing, there's definitely some vibration and higher pitched noises that it does cancel out. Is the motion on this completely silent with the noise cancellation when it's running at quick speeds? Absolutely not. But the noisiest aspect of this printer, by a long shot, is the 5015 blower fan underneath the tool head. I have a feeling we might see more uptake on hot ends if I put AMS on top shelf, not fun to take off. Yeah, it's not at all. I anticipate somebody's going to create a clever mounting system for this new AMS Lite. As far as I can tell also, well, I'm sorry, we'll pan over. It looks like it's gotten beyond the point that it had the layer shift. So I think it was my fault. I think, or at least I think it was the coincidental that the filament happened to fall on it. We'll see if it completes, but it doesn't look like it's repeated the issue in the same height or anything like that. Oops. Is the poop shooter flinger better? Not really. I mean, it's more convenient not having it on the backside, but so one of my complaints, pretty much my only real complaint, there's little nitpicks I sprinkle in my review, but my only real complaint is the actual footprint that this thing takes up. If you just get this cantilever printer, the A1 Mini by itself, it's very, very small. But once you get it and you add the A1 or the AMS Lite that sits on the side of it, and you add a shoot catch on the left of it, I think I said in my video that roughly 700 millimeters was what you wanted, or 27 inches of width, give or take. So it's very, very wide. Wall mount would be awesome. Yeah, wall mount would be really cool. And I think it's totally feasible. So now it's at 100 millimeters a second. It only does this once. This is a one-time deal. Hey, Luke. Yeah, I don't actually have a the P1S that I have in here in the corner doesn't have a poop chute. Every time I move it, it's a nightmare. There's just little pellets everywhere. Luckily, the one in the studio I primarily use for mostly functional printer quick parts, or just functional printer parts. And so at the very most, it's like one accent for little pieces of it. The P1P and X1 carbon in the garage are the ones I primarily use for multicolor, and they're on a much wider shelf system, so it's a lot easier to kind of control the stuff coming off of it. Okay, let me see really quick here. Wow, we have 179 people. That is awesome. If you have not hit the like button, please do. We were previously trying to get 200 likes before giveaway time, and we're opening the giveaway in 15 minutes, and we're drawing for a spool of Polymaker filament in 45 minutes. What size is the fatty Y rail? No, the Y is not a linear. Oh, okay, dude, it totally looks like a linear rail from this angle. It's only because it's see-through. It's linear guides, so it's actually metal wheels and 2 metal rods on the left and right side. Yeah, the biggest rail on this entire thing, linear rail, is going to be the Z-axis, and I measured it, I believe, at 15 millimeters. Yeah, I've had a fair when I've done some big multicolor prints. I also have experienced like the chaos of the poop shoot. You didn't see this, Josh, but pretty cool. I'll show it after this is done, I guess. Once it starts doing the input shaping, I'll pull the camera away because we've seen input shaping. It's just fairly standard. But through the frame, which you might be familiar with, I think you are familiar with, Josh, because I think did you print out one of his, no, maybe you didn't do his enclosure, but through the frame has done a bunch of cool mods for the X1, like, I guess Bambu printers in general and some Voron stuff. And he has been working on a shoot already for this guy, and it is it attaches using magnets and then just a tiny little bit of VHB to attach it to the base and keep it together, but it's nice. There's three versions of it. One's a chute, one's a bucket, and one uses a empty spool box. And it should be pretty nice. And again, having it not behind the printer, I know there's like chutes that go around the side, but it should make it much easier to see. Do you think we will be able to put a big Bowden tube and move AMS bar like on top in a shelf? It's possible. Okay, so now it's doing the final thing here. So it's going up from... Oh, let me see if you guys can hear this. Hold on. Noise cancellation off. Filters. Okay, noise cancellation off. It's 250 millimeters a second with it off. 300 millimeters a second with it off. And now with it... Oh, no, I didn't get it. Sorry, I tried. I think you could probably run. A long Bowden tube. Yes, I don't foresee that being an issue if you wanted to. Anyways, I tried. So now it's doing input shaping, noise suppression back on. Benchy also completed, so we can take a look at this one. This is the 17-minute Benchy when it doesn't screw up on you. Let's see. Ugh. There we go. It looks like it's having a harder time cooling this one. It totally is. I didn't notice these on the previous one I did. Here, let's see. I still think it's a pretty damn good looking Benchy for being 17 minutes. The biggest imperfections I see are a little bit of cooling. Cooling is really the biggest thing I'm seeing right now, which I didn't notice previously. Let me see. I'm going to grab another Benchy that I printed on this, but I see a little bit of artifact or a little line right there. And then when we get towards the very top, that it looks all cooling related right there. But yeah, let me show. I printed another one. I printed a few Benchies actually, but let me grab. I think I checked that Benchy. Let's see. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it did. Here we go. Yeah, so this was the first Benchy I got off of this machine. And it was the same. Yeah, okay, so something, I don't know if my room is hotter today or whether it's the filament, but this was the first Benchy, my first print on this printer. And this was with orange voxel PLA, and there is way less, like, let's compare them side by side. There is way... Hey, Vasily! Thank you very much for the $10 donation. Finishing the Voron 2.4 build guide. Use your stream VOD as a guide. Thanks, really helpful. That is awesome. Congratulations. We're going to be revisiting the 2.4 in the not-so-distant future. We're going to add some LEDs, go to Voron Tap, and just play around with it a bit. So that's awesome. Gosh, why am I not able to focus this? There we go. So maybe it is similar. Maybe it's just the green color shows it more. Let's see. How does the cooling... cooling definitely looks like it's worse on the green one, right? Like, I think it looks much crisper. Ah, there's a little bit. So maybe a portion of it is the green just shows imperfections more than in the orange color I previously used. I mean, regardless, I think for a 17-minute benchy, it's pretty impressive on, you know, on this cantilever printer. But yeah, cooling seems to be the biggest, really the biggest factor in the imperfections I'm seeing. The spot on the back of the cabin below the port still there, just smaller. Yeah. So, what other things? Oh, I'll show you. Okay, so this is done calibrating this guy right here. This is what the chute looks like that he's been working on. I'll show you both the CAD as well as the one I've got here. So this is the cardboard box one, and it just lets you use a spool of filament, but it slides in here like this. And so you'll put a little piece of VHB on the top. Let's get a better angle, right? I can do better than that. Let's see. This doesn't have a side blower. Wouldn't expect as good cooling. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just a single 50-15. So this guy, you put a little bit of VHB on these pieces, and it would attach underneath the side. Let me get it in the right place. Underneath the side here. And then the feet stay in place, and the outer portion is just held in place with 6x3 magnets. And so you pull this off, and this is one version, again, where you can use an old spool of filament. And then the other versions are pretty cool as well. I'm going to print the fully printed version of this. Let's see if I go to prepare and I go desktop. There we go. So there's this is the version I printed, and I just got these files a few hours ago, so I only printed this out because I wanted to have it done in time for the stream. But you print out the legs, you print out the catching portion, which this is the one I went with. You've also got an option for a chute, which is cool if you've got like a big trash can underneath it or something like that. And this is the one I'm going to print out, which is the bin. And then the bin has an attachment piece that goes on top of it that gives it more of a wall. So, but yeah, this should be pretty cool. I like this. Should be reasonable to mod some type of cooling system. Oh yeah, no, I especially because it's totally open. I don't think, I mean, most of the printing I've done with the stock profiles, and I'll show you guys the stock profiles actually. I do in my video on Saturday. Let's go standard, discard. Well, actually, let's just go 1 second here. Let's go file, new project. No, discard. So this is what I pretty much sliced everything at, which is at 6K acceleration for all standard printing, outer wall 5, top surface 2, and first layer 500, which seems slow. But this is basically what I ran for most all of my testing. And the prints have looked awesome, like really, really nice. I bought a 2.4 kit in the end of 2021 and still haven't finished and got a successful print. USB fan, there you go. So at these speeds, I think that they set them fairly, sort of conservatively, and I have a feeling a big part of that's cooling related. Do we know what the max excel for the firmware is? They said 10K. They said 10K was the max you can hit. I'm almost tempted, like, let's for fun, here. We're gonna play around with the AMS in a second here, but let's just throw like a primitive cylinder, and let's go, I just want to do like vase mode for fun and watch this thing go burr. What do I want to do? So we'll scale you up to, let's go 180. Actually, no, it's gonna take a while for that bottom layer. Let's go like 150, and then let's just do, hey, Geeks are full. Thanks for becoming a member. Welcome. Okay. Slicing mode. Spiral vase. Yes. Let's just try this and go. Let's just set everything to 10,000 except for first layer. This is going to be chaos. Outer wall. Yeah, it's outer wall is the main one. I guess that's really the, oops. And then first layer, we'll even raise that. We'll just go to 1,000 for that. I want the first to complete successfully. And then we're going to bump. What volumetric flow do they cap the filament profile at? That's a great question. 21 cubic millimeters a second. Oh, interesting. That's probably going to be a limiting factor for us as well. Oh, let's just run it and see what happens. Like, I'm gonna, oops, let's not do that. I have no idea what it's gonna do, but it'll be fun. Slice plate. I don't think we need a, yeah, if it starts skipping steps or going a little crazy, we'll kill it. But let's just send it. A1 mini, bed leveling, sure. Flow dynamic. We don't need to do calibration of flow because we just did. So base 0 bottom outside. Base mode with 0 bottom. Oh, that's probably, yeah, you're right. Hold on. Strength. Wall loops 1. Do we want to do none for the base? I kind of want to do one. Oh, outside brim. Okay, that's a good call actually. Bottom shell 0, outside brim. I like that. That'll get us quicker. Outer brim only. That's a good call, Zombie. It'll save us some time because the first layer doesn't take forever otherwise. Yeah, let's just do it. Okay. So there's that. This is done as well. Let me move this guy out of the way. Oops. Alters, did the tiny layer height on it make it go fast like 0.13? Oh, tiny layer height. Yeah. Point. Maybe we should do that. Should we do tiny layer height or? That's not a bad idea. Let's start it like this and see what happens. If it's not doing what we want it to, we can stop it. Minimum layer time 2 seconds. Let's just see what happens. We'll do this for a couple, and then we can play around with the AMS Lite because I know there's definitely questions about that, and I want to show it off. I want to show it off to hopefully answer some of those questions. Although it's going to take a bit. Let's unplug the clear one. Oh. It's doing its input shaping. Sip of coffee. Oh, Albert did. Okay, gotcha. Lisa, I'm so conflicted about this printer. I completely understand from your scenario why you are, especially after the experience you had with, you know what, I should probably, there's a little bit of filament, especially with the experience you had with the X1 carbon and support. I totally get it. Almost time to open a giveaway. Okay, I'll do, I don't have a watch or, what time is it? Yeah, let's do it. It's 2 minutes till. If you haven't hit the like button, let's see if we can get to, let's get to 160 before the drawing, which is 30 minutes. I believe we can do it. Send. Shorten URL. Okay, so I'm posting a link in the description. It's going to be pinned in a moment here for a giveaway we'll be doing in half an hour for a spool of Polymaker filament shipped anywhere in the world. You don't have to be here to win it. So if it's super late where you're at or you got to do something and you sign up and win, I will email you later on. Yeah, and if you don't have a Discord when you're filling out the form, because that's one of the requirements, you can enter anything as a placeholder. 9 out of 10 times I reach out via email. I need to remove it. I've been saying that for a long time now. Any idea how much their special RFID filament spools cost? I know you can use other filament, but I heard there's a bunch of features you can get with RFID. Their filament's fairly affordable. It's like I've purchased a fair bit when I've ordered spare parts from them. It depends on the one, but I want to say that some of their PLAs are like $20-ish. So they're not super expensive. Okay, let's see. I've used on their printers, I would say probably 5% Bambu filament and 95% not. Third-party stuff performs really well. Yes, there's some definite benefits, like it can keep track of, you know, what the filament is, automatically load things, check if you're making a mistake because of you've got those, and also, if I'm not mistaken, it can keep track of how much filament's on the spool, I think, which is nice, but it performs beautifully with third-party filaments. Polymaker is the primary company that I've used with all of my Bambu printers. And it's performed great. The biggest issue was AMS with the cardboard, but even that has been not a huge issue, so. Galaxy Black ABS from Polymaker. Polymaker Cookie. Oh, I really do want to try Cookie Cat as well. It's certainly on my list of 2 tries. I just purchased another $200 of Polymaker today. Yeah, the filament's awesome. I got in, well, you guys saw, if you saw the last VZ build, but I just got in a few of their neon ABSs that look awesome. And then they have if you're in the US, they have a 3-pack, like a special bundle for Halloween that looks gorgeous. I ordered that yesterday as well. I haven't tried the Rapid PLA. That's cool. I'll have to give that a go too. All right, so first layer was slow. We should be, okay, fan's turning on. What was that? It is not sticking already. So we've got to be limited by either cooling or flow rate. Let's look at our slice. Yeah. Super underwhelming. Let's see. Pat, thank you for the $4.99. Will the AMS Lite switch filaments when one runs out like the other AMS? That's a great question. I don't know. I haven't tested that out, and I don't think I've seen that as a feature in the screen UI. I should check, actually. Does anyone know, does anybody know Zombie? Because I don't think I've used it even on the X1 or P1 or any of them. Does anybody know? Yeah, where on the X1 Carbon or P1S to enable that feature? Because I can check, I just don't know where it's actually at. Speed. Okay, so not very fast. And that must be... Let's do a couple things here. Let's first drop down to... What did you say? What did Albert run is at? Josh, 0.12. Okay, let's try... You going to sleep? Jackson is? You guys gotta give me like 60 seconds. I gotta give Jack a little, gotta give Jack a good night kiss on the cheek. One sec. Hold on. Today was Aaron's first day back working, and so I had him pretty much all day, and he was awesome today. He was a rock star, so super proud of him. All right, 0.12. Oop, that's not right. Okay, so 0.12. Let's start with that. Default width is fine, but the thing we're probably running into, we're thinking, is cooling related. So minimum fan speed threshold, layer time. Keep fan always on. Okay, slow printer down for better layer cooling. We also don't want... Let me just see what this looks like speed-wise. Okay. That's showing 444 millimeters a second. That looks a hell of a lot better than the whatever 80 something we had capped ourselves at prior. So let's do this. I don't think I need it, Zombie. It looks like I can do it though. I'll do it for you. Let's see if it makes a difference. So 444. Cooling 6 seconds at the 0. Yeah, it looks like it stayed the same. But okay, let's stop. Let's stop this because it is too slow for us. Stop. Needs to go lower if not showing 500. It's still not showing 500, which makes me think it could be, yeah, I was gonna say, it could be because of volumetric flow. Only 80% fan? Oh, is that what I have it set to? One second. New max fan speed. Okay, let's try this again. Ba-doom, ba-doom. Flow dynamic calibration, no. All right, and while this is happening, let's pull up the AMS Lite because it's gonna have to redo its initial startup stuff. 0.08. You want me to? Okay, so we just want to see it move. I can do that if that's what we want. Okay, so we're thinking we're running into max flow issues, which would be why. What happened? That's my arm. Okay, so we're thinking drop it lower. So we're going to do 0.08 layers. See if we can hit 500 millimeters a second. And we can. All right, 500 millimeters a second, and it should be 10K excels. This is going to be stupid. This is going to... I don't recommend doing this. We're just doing this for fun. Yeah, okay. So we've hit the 500. We're going to be going for gold. So let's bring up the AMS. Oops. Oh, that's not good. I put my reflow station on top of it. So here it is. And I know looking at it, that it looks wild. And it sort of is a nozzle on the A1 quick swap. It's not, just like on the Bambu or any Bambu printer, it's not a nozzle swap, it's a hot end swap. But yes, there's no thermistor and no heater cartridge on the hot end. So it's basically undoing just a clasp, pulling it out and putting a new one in. We've changed it twice in this video, so if you go back you can see it. But yeah, it's a very quick process. Have you tried ABS or ASA at max? No, I have not. I would not buy this printer for ABS or ASA. I asked, and I talk about it in my video briefly in the review, I asked what their thoughts were on enclosing it, and they said if someone wanted to, I mean, you can enclose it, but they don't recommend it. So, I mean, all of the electronics are internal, like power supply is underneath it, the controllers underneath it, everything is internal. So you would be enclosing everything. There's no separation, there's no way to pull it out, I mean, without heavily hacking this thing up. So yeah, it's not intended to be an ABS or ASA machine. I primarily tested PLA. I also did TPU. It does TPU beautifully. I mean, let me correct that. I tested 95A TPU, which is what I usually print TPU in. If you need to go super soft, you'll probably have to slow it down, but it printed regular 95A, which is like the most common TPU that you can get for 3D printing beautifully, very, very quickly. So yeah, PETG will be no issue as well. I'm sure even realistically nylons and stuff will be fine. Quite a few nylons don't require an enclosure depending on the nylon. But yeah, ABS or ASA, I would not be getting this printer for. I feel like I've given away my entire video on Saturday, so if you just want to watch it for support, I appreciate it. My conclusion in the end is that I would not pick this over my P1S or my X1 Carbon. I like the fully enclosed Core XY. That being said, for someone that doesn't need it to print ABS or ASA, and doesn't care about the absolute maximum speed, it really checks a lot of boxes. And compared to what the other competition's offering, it's very, very competitive. But yeah, I sent you a print. Okay, let's bed heats up to ADC max. Yeah, I want to check out your model actually. Let me really quickly do this. Ow! 20 more minutes, and then we will do the giveaway drawing. Let me see if I can find. Here's just the pepper if you'd rather do that. Okay, let's see. Habanero, OBJ. That is going to be super tough to print. That is going to be. Hold on, let me download the trophy. Download. Yeah, this is going to be very, very tough to print. Unless there's a flat spot I'm not seeing. No, it's completely. Let me see if the trophy looks like it's easier. Yeah, that looks much more reasonable to print. Still got some pretty good overhangs on it, but yeah, I think the pepper by itself is going to be way difficult. Let's take a quick look at this going. Is this Bambu Lab Bedslinger? Yes, it's a cantilever style 3D printer. It is by no means meant to be like a replacement for somebody that was wanting one of their other printers. This is their entry point. Sink into the bed. That's upside. Oh, you're saying print it flat, or like into the bed. This would be really poor for ASA because the part moved through the air. Yeah, it's not. Again, like I think for PLA, PTG, TPUs, and even a few others, like certain nylons, it will do great. Which is realistically what a huge majority of people that 3D print exclusively print in. Like the amount of people I talk to that are outside of like custom printer building, when I ask what they're printing, it's like almost always PLA, and like maybe they've played around with PTG. So it does check a huge box. Pricing on this is it's $299 for the printer standalone. It's $460 with the AMS Lite. It's moving. Yeah, I would say that it needs the AMS with it as well. It's definitely moving quicker than before. Yeah, I think this printer is actually priced really low. Compared to, like, for what you're getting, compared to what most of the other printers at between under $500, or at least, like, even just taking the AMS out of it at $300, it's a really, really, in my opinion, competitive offering. Oh, my poor ribbon cable. The flow rate on this, so we saw it was maxed, I think, at 23. Oh, it's skipping. So there's a hole. You can't see it because from every angle except one angle right here, it looks perfect. But it's a huge gash on this side. We saw that they have the profile capped at 21 cubic millimeters a second. I don't actually know what we hit with this, but I would imagine it's pretty close to that. Printer alone, it has more features than the others too. Yeah, by a long shot. It could be a loss leader to get people into the Bambu Lab printers. Absolutely, I could see that. Wait, Prusa dropped the price on their Mini? I didn't know that. It's called the Mini. Will there be a normal A1? I mean, if the Mini is priced at $300 already, the normal one will reach the price of the PMP. I have no idea. I have zero clue. Like, I've heard nothing about any other printer from Bambu. So it makes sense. If I had to guess, if I had to speculate, I don't know why they would specify A1 Mini versus just A1 if there wasn't intentions to be a different one. But yeah, that's purely speculation. I have no info. Okay, I'm gonna stop this so we can do an EMS thing. At least we can see that it is boogieing. I'll show you guys the side on this side that you can't see. Looks pretty rough. Mini's now 425 with 7 weeks wait time. Yeah, the Prusa Mini was, I know some people love that thing. It has been a pretty big disappointment to me. Mine was not not a very positive experience. The stock hot end gave me issues from like day one, and it's not very rigid. It took me quite a while to get the Z, or I guess the X-axis to not be kinked. So, okay, here's how it looks. So this is, on the side that looks good, it looks really good. Like those are very consistent looking lines. I mean, also really, really fine. On the side that doesn't look good, we're holding on for dear life. On the other side, I don't know what was, the start-stop point is, I'm imagining what this section was, but maybe it just didn't have enough time. But yeah, the whole thing looks great, except for the section where it doesn't, where it looks real, real bad. Yeah, extruder, I didn't really have issues with the extruder. But I know, like, everyone I know that really likes their Mini, well, there's a few that seem to be like the whisperers, but most everyone when I was having issues like 2 years ago was like, get the Bondtech heat break, get the Bondtech extruder, and I'm like, that's like an extra $130 for this thing. And then there's some other people I've seen like, get the Bondtech extruder, get the Revo hot end. I'm like, all right. So, okay, so what questions are there any questions about the AMS Lite? So let's take an overall look at it. It does certainly also have that sort of futuristic look, and now that someone said it looks like a fancy exercise bike, I can't unsee that. It feels very Tron-like to me. As far as I'm aware, the actual gear and grabbing system is going to be super, super similar to the traditional AMS. The core difference, again, is that it is external. So to put a spool on it, you grab your beautiful Polymaker filament, you place it on these little arms, and you line it up, and you push it through like that, and now it's in place. So the beautiful thing about that is that once it's on, there's no friction with the cardboard. You don't have to worry about the cardboard rubbing, you don't have to worry about cardboard dust, none of that. It's a spins from the center and clamps on, which is beautiful. The core thing, I need to change the music, hold on. Music is not. Let's put on some like 8-bit. Also, how much, we're getting close on giveaway drawing, I think. Yeah, 11 more minutes on that. Continuing to talk here. Yes, the thing that they had told me when I asked about cardboard spools was that if you have a cardboard spool that's quite flimsy, no offense to Protopasta, but their cardboard spools are certainly much thinner than sort of like the condensed Polymaker ones. That I could see from taking it on or off, it actually deforming the center of the spool. That being said, I think it would be pretty easy to, instead of doing an entire ring for the outside, just doing a smaller ring on the inside to help reinforce it. But for Polymaker spools, I mean, I guess if you're taking it on and off a bunch of times, it could potentially at some point wear into it, but the bottom line is this is a much friendlier decision or route to go for cardboard spools. And taller spools and thinner spools. It's just, I like the set it and it just rolls thing, and it's worked quite well for me, but I do think this is going to be friendlier towards third-party spools. So where's the giveaway? Oh, snap, dude. The giveaway link never got posted, or it got posted, but it didn't, I forgot to pin it. 1 second. Whoopsies. Sorry, it's because Steve's not here to tell me it's time for a giveaway. That's why we only have 56 entries. I was like, huh, that's not a lot of entries considering. 1 second. Okay, link is getting, I'm gonna have to extend it for at least a few extra minutes here. So 15 more minutes and we'll do the drawing. We'll run 5 minutes after. Form is in chat. I'm going to pin it in 3. Oh, come on. 1 second. There we go. Pin message. Sorry, I don't have pin powers. You can't pin, Zombie? If you ask about the giveaway, you can't enter. Check the video description. It's not in the video description. Some of these spools are too big in the center, but you just did design and print and insert. Sunley spools are too big in the center. For these ones you're saying, or for the current ones? I think this is Sunlu. Oh wow, this is big. That is a big center. Yeah, no, you're right. It is. That's crazy. I didn't realize that Sunlu's was so much bigger. Yeah, so I guess for this one you will want to print out some kind of a clasp thing in the center, or just again an internal ring to shrink it down. Damn, that is a very large center, like, comparing spool holes here. It is large. I had never realized that. Steve's back. Hey, Caitlin. Do I need to be from the USA? Absolutely not. Nope, you do not need to be. You can be anywhere. Anywhere. Do you have an affiliate link with Bambu? I do. The link in the description, Lisa, should be an affiliate link. However, it looks like they're not even doing pre-orders until October now for this thing. You'll have to check. I don't know if they're going to do an announcement or what's going on. The whole thing has been, last 24 hours has been fairly chaotic. But I do, and that link should do that. Yeah, they basically told me initially that they were going to have units at launch, and there would be a fairly small batch, and then things kind of changed, and I don't entirely know. So yeah, they probably sold out of pre-orders and didn't want to bury themselves too much where they couldn't fulfill, which is a cool thing to do. A lot of companies would just take them and then give you a further out date. So the fact that they're not taking money and waiting until, I think I saw like the 15th or 16th is pretty cool of them. Okay, so I don't know what else there really is to say about it. I mean, it's you know, it's got four spools that can be held onto it. They didn't tell me anything about a hub. So I have no idea if the hub is going to be coming out. I can't see. No, I don't see how. I don't think a hub's going to come out for this. Just looking at the way. So one big perk of this over the current AMS is that there's 4 tubes. And so instead of having to reel the spool all the way back through the tube into the AMS unit, there's 4 tubes, right? So let's do this while we're talking. Yeah, we should probably unload first, huh? Bear with me. What are we doing? We're doing filament, and we're clicking unload, and it's unloading. Got mine in this morning before it changed. Oh, nice. October 16th, yeah, when he starts October 16th, yeah, which is cool of them, right? Like, it is cool. The next layer kind of did a big oof with the leak. Yes. Yes. I don't know, it's been talked about over and over, but yes. Mega combo for $509 is not a bad deal. What comes in the, let's actually look. I haven't looked because there was no product pages this entire time I was doing the testing on this. Let's see. With AMS Lite, okay, Mega Combo comes with, oh, sick. Oh, sweet. So you get a smooth PEI sheet as well, because it comes with the powder coated, hardened steel nozzles, 0.4 and 0.6 and 0.2, and the difference in price is, yeah, I would totally get that. I mean, I guess if you're not, if you're a person that's like, I don't have any desire to ever print in abrasives, then yeah, why get it? But if you're even have an inkling that you're going to want to, I would, if it were me, I would get that. Doesn't this AMS still retract super far away? It doesn't. So that's what's really cool about this over the other one. So in my video, that's coming out Saturday, I mentioned that I feel like this AMS loads and unloads slower than the existing AMS, and I still stand by that. I think that when the wheels are loading or when the spools are loading, which let's do things here. We'll show you guys. I think that it loads and unloads slower than the existing AMS. And I think that's because the spools are external, right? In this sort of confined one, it can sort of like whip those spools through the PTFE tube without any risk of it flying anywhere. But with this being external, I think that there's a portion of, hey, like there's nothing holding these on other than the center, which it does grip very nicely, but I still can see how they'd want to cap how quickly they're rotating. So I was expecting that it would take longer to print, but when I was looking at the slicer stuff, I noticed it didn't seem like it was taking longer to print. And it's because the retraction distance for this Lite one is substantially shorter than the current one for the other printers. So I've got this plugged in. It's a single, oh, you guys can't really see that, can you? I didn't see the mega combo when I purchased mine. Hey, you'll be able to get the pieces. I've been meeting in 5, but I'll be lurking. Okay, sounds great, Zombie. Okay, so yeah, single cable to plug in. Also, while it's on my mind, I was told that the current AMS will not work with the A1 Mini, and that at least they said currently the A1 Mini, or no, the AMS Lite won't work with the other printers. So they use the word currently, and I feel like that might be intentional, like there might be some kind of upgrade path, but I'm not saying anything definitively because I have no information. It's just that when they said the word choice they used with me when they said it won't work, the existing one on the A1 Mini, and currently it won't work, the word currently made me think that they're trying to figure out something. So, the difference with the current AMS is that you've got 4 tubes of 4 Bowden tubing fittings that basically all go into one at the AMS that then goes down to a buffer system that then goes from the buffer system to the tool head. So anytime you change color, the filament has to retract out of the tool head, past the buffer, all the way back to the AMS to the sensor. That's a long distance. Even if you're hauling butt, that's a long distance. And so with this one, that's not the case. You have every single tube going directly to the tool head. So let's just plug them all in. So just plug you in, plug you in, plug you, let's scoot you closer, plug you in, and plug you in. And then for cable management, there's this little, this little kind of looks like a revolver guy. I don't know what else to call it. That's what it reminds me of, like a cowboy revolver gun. So this clips it all together. So the reason why it is so much quicker is because of this tool head system. So when you change a color, it only has to raise the filament out of the tool head to right here. It doesn't have to go all the way back because they're not all sharing a single lane. They all have their own lanes. And so it isn't until right here where it actually decides which one's going through. So that's why it saves so much time on filament swaps, because it's just a fraction of the distance that's needed. 3DC already supports that config, right? Like 8 spools? 3DC? Wait. 3D Chameleon. Oh, already supports that config, right? Like 8 spools. I don't know. I've seen 3D Chameleon at online for a long time, and I've seen it at Murph, but I don't know all the specifics, and I know it's evolved a lot over the years, so I don't know. Yeah, less retraction, less waste of time, exactly. Why is there 2 AMS connectors to the printer unless they allow? That's a good point. But to be fair, this is the only other connector. So you have like micro SD, right? And then the AMS and AMS. It's entirely possible there's another sort of accessory, or that they have the potential, like they want to leave a expansion option in case there's some sort of upgrade for this that they want to come out with. Like maybe they decide that they want to release some kind of a fan add-on that bolts to something on here and gives you additional cooling. So although it's the same pinout and you can choose which one you plug it into, I'm not entirely convinced it's for a secondary unit like this. It might be a different thing, but it's possible. Does it have a cutter? It does, yeah. So it's, as far as I can tell, same exact cutter setup, except they swapped the sides. And this is the, oh, there we go. Yeah, so cutter's right here. Yeah, same exact cutter system on it. It still has to purge just the same. It does have to purge just the same, yep. Let's load some spools here. So let's load up, we got Polymaker. So to load up filament, again, you just slap it on the side here, like that, and then the feeding is underneath, so you go like this. And then this is the tension. Is the printer off? This printer is off. it cannot, if you were wondering, it cannot load your filament when it does not have power. For the camera, I don't know. Are those just Ethernet ports for those? Wait, no, they're not Ethernet ports. I don't know what kind of ports these are, but they're the same that are on, the Bambu, the other Bambu printers. They're basically like 4-pin, I don't think they're micro-fit, but like four pin connectors. I don't think I have another one in here I can show. Not Ethernet, yeah. Someone said it's for a future planned filament enclosure box. Interesting, yeah. Okay, so we've got power now. Now I can pull this and load here. So look at it loading. This is the speed it loads at. It's slow. I am not dreaming. That is slower than the current AMS. But again, the cool thing is that's only a one-time deal. It has to load it slowly one time, and then after that, it's very small movements. But I'm almost positive that the reason for that is because this is external and it doesn't want to be, again, moving the spool too quickly. So we've got that. What do we want to do? If we're going to do that pepper, I don't know how that we're going to, I thought it's going to be tough to do that multicolored pepper without painting it ourselves. So we'll see. Let's load a red. Let's do red. Red up here. Okay, red's feeding. Let's do like a orange. Yeah, orange sounds good. Some form of Molex. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, it sort of looks like a microfit. Evening, all been a while since I caught a stream. Hey Ben. Yeah, someone says for future, the streams over the next while here are going to be very weird as far as times go, because I'm watching Jack and Erin's working and her schedule's not set hours. So I can fairly confidently say it's still going to be on Wednesdays. It's just that it's probably going to slightly shift on a week-by-week basis. So yeah. Let's see. What is this? Oh, this is pretty too. This is Bambu's glitter PLA. So okay, so we got a little bit of everything on here, color-wise. There we go. Okay, load it up. Can you please break the printer a little bit and then sell it to me for a low price? Yes. Do these AIMs cut the filament tips at all? I'm just curious how it deals with the bolts. It does cut them. Yeah, it cuts them. There's a blade. So blade's inside the tool head. And this arm, this cuts the filament. When it does that, that's the blade pushing through. And tool head moves to here, and this little guy, every time it does a color change, it cuts the filament. So that way the blob never has to pull out past the hot end. And then when the new filament comes in, it just pushes that blob outwards towards the hot zone, and then basically kicks it off to the side. So yeah, it does cut the filament. Later streams actually work better for me. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I know I can't make everyone happy, but so much of the regular viewers are living in Europe and other places where, like, it's already sort of late, the normal time I stream, and this is just impossible. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Just got some carbon. It's so loud because there's cheap steppers. I don't know what kind of steppers are being used for X or Y, to be honest with you. As far as like brand or exact specs on them, they did say that they were going. I think they were going to be adding some of the noise cancellation stuff, or trying to put that back into the other printers. I just don't know when. But also, are you supposed to sharpen, replace the blade? That's a great question, and I have no idea. I've never replaced a blade on any of the printers, and it's never been an issue. It's a consumable, so yes, I just don't know. Maybe when things start, like when it's not cutting correctly or it gets stuck, I don't know. The only thing I've really replaced, other than the heat bed wire issue that I had, was the wipers. On the X1 Carbon, there's a little PTFE wiper, and mine, from being hit over and over by the hot end, eventually deformed. So yeah. Okay, let's see. let's see. Pull out the filament, cool. Okay, so we've got this pepper, and I'm trying to think of the best way that we can do this in multicolor. Let's see. Let's really quickly edit this out. If you haven't entered the giveaway, it's pinned in chat. We're gonna do the drawing in like 5 minutes here. Okay, so we've got red, purple, orange, black. So one is red. 2 is purple. That's actually correct. This is black. And wait, what? Orange is number 3. Let's do orange. Okay, and let's sync this. Discard. I could just reset everything. All right, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can quickly do some painting on this. So let's do like, let's do black. And orange. I'm gonna try to quickly just do some painting on this. Like, I'm gonna spend 2 minutes and then we're gonna send it. Because I've spent a very long time on painting before. This is gonna be tough. These top. Let's see if I go. Oh, there we go. I'll look at chat in 1 second. All right. What am I missing? All right, so for anybody in Colorado, the Pueblo Chili and Frijoles Festival this weekend, I'll be giving these trophies out to people who eat peppers filled with hot sauce. Hey, what's up, Hobbit? 11 a.m. here. Do you think this printer will be your new recommendation for beginner printers? It depends. If you don't want to tinker or mod, and you don't like if your goal is to just have a printer, like, okay, if for you the printer is the tool and you don't care about the, it's hard to, how do I explain it? This is for someone that doesn't want to tinker. I talk to people all the time that have no desire to build printers, hack printers, customize printers. All they want is things to print, fun projects, or things that they're working on. If that's you, then yes, I think this is the perfect printer for that. If you want to customize and mod and any of that stuff, absolutely not. So it depends. I think that just like with, so I love building printers, right? Like Vorons and VZs and the rat rigs. But I like also having the Bambus as just set and use printers. Like having the combo of the two to me is like this perfect combination of, I don't touch this other than using it for XYZ, and it does those things very well, versus I can do whatever I want with this. It's my open playground. So it just really depends. And part of why I really like 3D printing is because it's not a one shoe fits all. Like what might be a great solution for somebody might be a horrible solution for somebody else. And I do, oh, there we go. Do really like that. Okay, so we're going with that beautiful purple polymaker on the top. Stem's gonna be orange. No, red. Yeah. And then we'll go with orange for the base. Ooh, wait. No. We need some red. So we'll do some red down on the base. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, and now for the text. Can we get the text? I'm curious how the text is gonna work out. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'll try to go quickly. But yeah, for like, if somebody just came up to me and said, hey, I'm new to 3D printing and I want to get into 3D printing, I want to use it for these cool projects, and they're not like, you know, they're not a 3D printing enthusiast that's into all the techie, nerdy side of things, it's such a great choice, especially at the price. I mean, I spent $400 on my first 3D printer I wasn't even into 3D printing. I bought it because I just was like, this seems like a crazy technology 10 years ago, and it was awful. This thing, like, it is incredible. I would have loved to have had something like this. So, oops. All right, I have no idea how this is gonna look, but I think, let's try it. Maybe this isn't the best example of a multicolor to show for the build stream, but we're doing it. This is gonna be like a whole, yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a fair bit. It's gonna take 18 hours. I don't know if I'll even be able to complete this whole thing. Let's just let it start. Let's just let it start so we can see this in action. Flow dynamics we'll do for the first one. Cool. Yeah, I mean, again, 3D printing is like, when someone says, what's the best 3D printer? It depends. Like, who are you? What is your goal? Do you need to print big? Do you need to print small? Do you need to print abrasives? Is it mechanical, you know, like functional things? Is it like, there's so many questions. But for like your average person that is wanting to get into it, there's so much to learn. And if you can just learn, like if you have the printer that does what you want it to do, and all you have to focus on is playing around with different slicer settings, and you can focus on your CAD, I think that that's pretty powerful for a lot of people. Okay, let's see. So it's going. I know we gotta do the giveaway drawing. Actually, it's not gonna do any purging yet. Anyway, it's got to do all the leveling and stuff. So let's do this giveaway. If you're filling out the giveaway form that's been in the chat for the last long time, I'm going to be removing it now. So remove, unpin message. If you're filling it out actively right now, you've got like a minute, and then I'm gonna draw. Guess on how long that print will take. Wait, is that what it said? No, it said 18 hours total. Yeah, 18 hours total. Ooh, I'll show you guys. Man, you guys are getting all the cool like spoilers from my Saturday video. This was one of the prints I did with the AMS Lite, and I love it so much. It's awesome. Aaron loves it too. Wait, what am I doing? Here we go. Wait, wrong way. There we go. It turned out so cool. How many filament changes on this or the one that I'm printing right now? I don't know for this skull. I can check on the one right now. Here's another one that I did. This one's just black and white, but then the eyes are Polymaker, Starlight, one of those Vertigo. I don't know, one of the super pretty Polymaker ones. But it does a great job. Like, I mean, I can't tell a quality difference from the multicolor on this versus the standard AMS. So, there we go. I'm doing the limbo. All right. How many filament? I don't see the link to the sign up. Yeah, giveaway. It's done, Jeremy. I'm sorry. It was up for like quite a long time. On the new 18-hour print, how many filament changes? Filament changes 592 times. 592 filament swaps. Yeah, this is not the way I painted this model is not doing any favors for not purging a bunch of filament. I don't think I'm gonna let it complete. We'll probably just print it so I can see the beginning, sort of how it works, and then I'll end up stopping it. Okay, so let me get you guys focused on the printer, and I'm gonna do the giveaway stuff. Here we go. The panda is awesome. All the best to the multicolor print. Do you remember to use the poop bin? Yeah, again, I'm not gonna let it run the whole way through. I have to work on a video after this stream, so I can't have this thing printing for the next day here at least. Okay, let's see, where is the form? All right, we had 119 entries. I don't know. One second. Okay, so this has to be the YouTube names. And there should be 112, 111 people. Is that right? No, it's not. Okay, give me one sec. I'm gonna go the method I normally do. I was trying something different, but I want to make sure I get all 118 people that entered. Downloads, extracts. All right, replace existing. Okay, so there should be 118. There we go, 118 people. Wheel of names. Okay. Did it already do the mesh? Okay, so it's feeding. Yeah, it's feeding right now. Or it was feeding. Yeah. So red's feeding into the toolhead. Let's see if you guys can see it moving. It's going super slow. Oh no, it's already there. It's already in the toolhead. I just didn't. Oops, I didn't see it from the angle. Is the PEI sheet metal one? Yeah, it's a powder coated. It's the same. So this PEI sheet is the same as the one that comes on the P1S. So it's their gold powder coated PEI. Don't question. You've been using it for 3 weeks. How's it holding up? It's been great. I haven't had any issues. The only things, honestly, were ironically on stream earlier, the first benchy had a skip step, and I think I found the issue. I think it was a piece of purged filament that fell onto the Y rail, and when it was moving back and forth, it caused one skip. Aside from that, I haven't had any issues. I did swap out the hot end halfway through. Not halfway through testing, probably a week or so into testing. I was trying to print out the mouse for the included project. Let me move, and it kept failing. And then they sent out a new hot end that looked identical to the previous one. Oops. And they told me that they changed up something in their manufacturing process, and it completed perfect. So this is like a printed project that it came with. And I've been using this mouse for the last couple weeks here. And it works awesome. They give you all of the internal components like the PCB, the battery terminals, the wheel, the pads, the little USB dongle, and then you one-click print, and it's essentially the shell that prints vertically like this with some built-in tree supports, and then the internal housing for it as well. Yeah. I ended up modifying the file ever so slightly. I can show actually one more time on this guy. So this little guy right here, oops, come on. There we go. This little piece right here is like a single line, and no matter, this thing's had great adhesion, but this piece, no matter what, was always warping. And so I ended up going with although it's supposed to be just ready to print, I ended up going with one single mouse ear here, which made a huge difference. And then this part, the tree support kept failing right here. Oops, right here on this center button. And again, once they sent out that new hot end, it printed beautifully twice. I've got this one, and then I'll show you guys one more thing. We haven't done the giveaway. God, late night streams got me even more squirrely than normal. Ugh. Yeah, so I printed this one, and then I printed this one back to back. And seeing two complete successfully, I was confident that the issue I had before was resolved. It was a lot of stringing that was going on with the initial hot end with certain filaments. Not on all models, but this is a very complex model. I mean, it prints vertically as well, so Ah, Z-Hop, yeah. I could see that being a good solution because it was that the nozzle was hitting one of the tree supports at some point. So, okay, let's do this giveaway. Let me go right here really quick. So, massive thank you to Paul. What is that? We got Discord server spin the wheel. Add our bot to your Discord server and spin the wheel. Interesting. So thank you to Polymaker for sponsoring this giveaway. For anyone that hasn't been into one of our giveaways before, it's a spool of Polymaker filament. If in the US or Canada, you'll end up getting a gift card if you win. That is pretty cool because you can pick a standard spool, or if you want like a carbon spool or something super fancy, you can use the gift card to take off the gift card value and pay the difference. If you're anywhere else, then it's a spool of either PLA, ABS, PTG, or ASA, and they have a huge list of like a couple hundred spools you can choose from. So the winner will get an email from me probably tonight or tomorrow latest. And yeah, I think that's it. So again, thank you to Polymaker. And if you want to try out any of their filaments, they have some gorgeous filaments. The beard on that skull I just showed is one of their newer filaments. Links are in the description to that as well. So let's go ahead and shuffle. I don't have Steve to ask for how many shuffles. How many shuffles are we doing? How many shuffles are we doing? Yes, this is not an ABS printer. The bed only goes up to 80, and it's not meant to be enclosed. So this is a PLA, PETG, TPU, and some other filaments, but definitely not ABS ASA. Giveaway ended. Sorry, Matt. It was live for quite a long time. Joel sent up a reslice with Hope with Z Hope. Oh, back to Bambu. Is the hot one the same as the X1 or the P series? It's not. It's not. It's longer, and it doesn't have a thermistor heater cartridge, and it has a smaller heatsink, and it has a magnet. We got 4 because AMS feeds perfect. That's all of the. We're going with 4. I see a lot of 4s tonight. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alrighty. Good luck, everybody. In 3, 2, 1, spin. Dan Dem, you are our winner. Congratulations. Let's do a little air horn. You are, congratulations. So I will reach out again either tonight or tomorrow. I try to do it tonight. It just depends if I remember after getting off. But I will again send you an email the next day here. So congratulations, and once again, thank you to Polymaker for even letting us do this. So let's see really quickly here, what layer do we actually get our first filament swap? It's going to be the text because there's nothing down here. Let's see. It's going to take quite a few layers before we actually notice the swap. So, okay, so like layer 4 is our first swap, and we are on. It doesn't say. Does it say in the? It should. Okay, we're on layer 2, so we're just starting off. I'd love to see, so game plan is we see at least a few filament swaps, and we hang for a bit, and then probably call it a little bit shorter tonight. It's just been a super long day, and also all the streams that Steve and I were doing were like four plus hours, so I'm kind of up for a little bit shorter of a stream tonight. If anyone has any specific questions that we haven't gone over, if it's one that we've answered a few times already, I'll probably refer to earlier or keep it a little bit shorter. But yeah, if there's any questions or something we haven't covered, please let me know. Again, I've got a full 20-minute video that I spent so many hours making, coming out on Saturday. So hopefully that'll fill in a lot of the blanks. But yeah, I mean, again, the point of hanging out is that I'm here to answer sort of one-off questions and stuff. As far as other plans when it comes to streaming, we are going to be, once I get Aaron's schedule, I'm hoping that we can schedule the final VZBot stream next week, which will be another print and chill with Steve, hopefully. If it doesn't work out, then next Wednesday we're going to be returning to the Cyborg Trident, which we left off on. We had the frame done, we have the feet on, we have the gantry on, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we have like X-axis, tool head, belts, and wiring left. So, oh, okay. So look, it's doing a filament cut. It's cutting the filament. Let's see if I can show you guys it pulling back the material. Okay, it pulled back, but like not very far. It's already done. Now it's feeding in the new one. So like it would have been a much longer retract. You can see it already going in. So distance is much shorter. The distance it pulled back the filament was only to, let's see, red is this one. Yeah, it pulled the filament back to like right here only. So not very far. Which is how it's able to basically keep up speed-wise with the previous AMS. So now it's purging. I need my little cardboard poop box. Let's see. I'll get this set up eventually, correctly. Yeah, that should catch most of it. Looking at the gantry up close, are those rails made of steel? They very much look aluminum, at least X and Y. Pretty sure they're steel. Pretty sure... Where's my little... Steel. Yeah, steel. Steel. Yeah, both steel. I have 4 Cyber Tridents I built now. Love that kit and your feedback on them has been spot on. Dude, that's awesome. Also, what are you doing with 4 Tridents? That's a lot of Tridents. I mean, I'm sure Steve approves this message, but there's a lot of Tridents. What did I mean? How tall does my shelf space need to be for the tubes to fit on under? Wait. I think you might have how tall does my shelf space need to be? Not very tall, but you're saying for the tubes to fit under another shelf when it's all the way up. Oh, when this tool head's all the way up. Oh, that's a great question. I honestly can't answer that right now. I would need to, when the print ends, basically max out Z and try to measure that for you. I'm sorry, I don't know that right now. Does it come in anything other than white? It does not at least retail. Keep dropping Discord. Do you think the AMS light needs to be to the side of the A1? Any reasons why you couldn't leave it above? No, I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to be to the side. I absolutely think that a top mounting solution or a rack on top would absolutely work. Yeah, no, I definitely, I see no reason why it needs to be beside it. As long as your tubes, you might need longer tubes, Bowden fittings. But yeah, aside from that, I don't see any reason it needs to be on the side. Steve wears you out. I never said that. I didn't say Steve wears me out. I said that after Steve and I's long streams, I need to take a couple shorter streams, I think, to recoup. How tall are that? Thoughts on the Sunlu filament dryer? So I think it's probably going to be awesome. Sunlu reached out to me about the dryer quite a while ago, and I was really excited about it. I was like, no way, like a big solution with like PTC heaters and you know, larger spools or 4 spools. And then I saw that it was me on Kickstarter, and I told them, sorry, I hope your Kickstarter is successful. When you're done with the Kickstarter and you've fulfilled your backers, I will gladly test this thing out. I'm not against testing out Kickstarter products. I'm not, but Sunlu has had now 3 filament dryers, and they are an established company, and there's just not a need for it to be on Kickstarter. So I couldn't encourage that behavior. That being said, I don't entirely know since I haven't had one to test out, but based off of Sunlu's previous units, and I've got 2 of them, they're not my favorite. I like the Ibis ones better, generally speaking, but this new one looks really solid, and I don't really have, I haven't seen anything competition-wise that compares to it. So I am excited to get one in, and I think that, again, whenever you're doing a Kickstarter, you always have to be wary, but the fact that they have delivered on their previous ones and they're an established company, I feel fairly confident. So yeah, I hope that helps, Caitlin. I don't really know if that's exactly the answer. I kind of beat around the bush there, but definitely +1 on finishing the Trident. Yes, we need to do that. Let's see if we can see it fling into the box. Well, I guess you can't really, you can probably see it. All right, like that. Looking at the gantry, answer that. Any comments on the whole next layer embargo break thing? I imagine that's pretty serious. I honestly don't really want to touch on it too much. I know that it's been the topic of the last day, and the situation sucks. I mean, the evidence that came out after made it look like a lot less of an accident, which doesn't look good. Again, I don't think, obviously, to the extent of the way things went down, nobody would have wished for that. So it certainly wasn't the plan or his plan. But from my personal standpoint, I take embargoes very, very seriously, and I have been making 3D printing content for almost a decade now. Like 2014 is when I started, and I don't like the way that all went down, and yeah, I don't think it was right. The idea, I mean, it's my understanding, and I haven't talked to him directly. I mean, I've seen a lot more information than I would have cared to from everyone sharing things and posting things, but it's my understanding that it was intended to be shared a bit early to his patrons, and it ended up making it everywhere. But regardless, like, to me, that in itself isn't right? Like, it's essentially incentivizing people to pay money for you to break promises you've made with companies. So the whole thing is bad. It's bad. And again, I don't want to hammer on it. I hope that he's, learned the lesson from this. Whether it's, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I was completely shocked when I saw it last night. So it's not good. Embargoes should be taken seriously, and it's not good. I'm done. I'm done with, yeah, don't want to talk about that. I think he'll have a lot of that stuff pre-built. There's an extrusion, Capricorn tubing, mill CNC. Did you use the purge to infill? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. No, if it's not enabled by default, I don't. Selling inside info to patrons is kind of whack. I agree. I agree. I don't think that makes it really any better. I don't. How did I not hear about your channel until 2014? I have no idea, Mitch. Either I am a terrible content creator, or I am I don't know, man. I started on YouTube right around the same time as Angus and Tom and everybody. I mean, they blew up way more than my channel ever did. Rightfully so. I mean, they were much more consistent and have made consistently great content over the years. But yeah, I've been in the 3D printing space for a long time. The channel name changed. It used to be Dope's Wonder. Back when I didn't know I was going to be making YouTube videos when I was 19 and started making video game hacking stuff, I never chose an official name, so it was just my email. And so I completely rebranded, which probably also didn't help. I changed names, I changed icons, I changed everything. So that, I'm sure, did not do me any favors. Dinner at 8:30, Aaron is saying. That's an hour. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Dinner in an hour sounds awesome, hon. Thank you. Ooh, a bottle of Pinot. Ooh, I do like our red wines. The worst part is that when it started using, yeah, the whole situation's not good. It's been talked about so much over the last day, and I think that, yeah, I don't know what to say that hasn't been said already. So 3 plates, got it. Will your wife and little one be joining? What are we having for dinner? I know she got a huge Caesar salad. I don't know, chicken Caesar. So we've done some filament swaps, but again, probably wasn't the best choice to show details quickly because it's text and it's sort of, because the text is at an angle, it just looks like lines of black. Let's see at what point should we actually be able to see like letters. Oops. All right, going to desktop mode. Did that skip a step? Did I hear skip? Or is that a vibration? Don't you be skipping steps on me again. I think it was just a vibration. It got me paranoid after that benchy earlier. Okay, so we are on, where are we at right now? We are on layer 7. Okay. I'm just switching over to layer 8 now, which means that we are... Okay. By layer 20, we should fully be able to read Champion 2023. I mean, at least I showed off the couple of cool dual extrusion or multicolor prints that I had done. But yeah, I probably could have done something that was a little bit quicker to show. I think we should appreciate the opportunity content creators go to have this. I think we should appreciate the opportunity content creators go to have. Yeah. This is, yeah, you mean from the painting tool? It does really deep. I don't know why in this case, and I don't know what the, I'm actually kind of curious now. Let's grab another model for fun here. Like, let's grab, I think it's just because, I think it does it this deep because of how much depth this layer has. I know that I've painted models before, and it certainly doesn't go that deep always. I'm also curious if under the painting tool, that was a parameter that I didn't see. Section view, smart fill detection, edge view, doesn't look like it. Let's see if there's another random model. Let's take the kitty cat, calico cat from... so let's see if we were to try painting... Let's just paint like his ear. Let's go, let me delete this from the build plate. Yeah, let's just see how deep that goes in. I mean, it can't go more than like a single wall on the tip of the ear there. But I'm curious just for the rest of it. It does go pretty deep. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't, like, obviously here it can't go more than a single layer because it would then eat into this, but you can see that it widens as it gets more width for that segment, the color widens. And it looks like it takes about half of it, so it maintains a 3 to 3, and it switches, yeah, so it's almost even, and then it turns into a triangle at that point when it breaks off from the main part. And it ends up eating up basically 1/4 of it. That's weird. I don't know that I don't know if I've ever really paid attention to that, but it is definitely a deeper embed of color than I had expected. Did you see where I'm for dinner? 4 plates. Core XY, so 2022 bits, so here's the future. I haven't heard much about the new Creality Core XC. Is it really shit? I don't know. I haven't tested out a Creality printer since... I'd have to check on the channel. I feel like it was an Ender 3 S1 or something like that. It's been a bit. The last thing was like the Sonic pad. They were going to be sending a K1 Max, and I had requested that they don't send it until they released the source code. And I was told that was happening in September, so I don't know. I haven't talked to the person that was my contact there. I haven't talked to in well over a month or so. throughout the entire thing, I was basically waiting for them to release the source code like they had said they were going to when I initially talked to them, and I don't know if it finally happened or not. I really don't know. Why do Americans say 1/4 instead of 1/4? I say a quarter. I say a quarter, I think, usually, though. Definitely talk about, like, a quarter pounder if we're talking about burgers. Yeah, so I don't know. I know they released a new series of, like, at least 3 printers recently, right? Like Ender 3 SE, Ender 3 V3. I don't know. The naming is very confusing, but I have seen that they have a core, at least one core XE that looks like it's gonna be pretty cool. From what I saw, I think it's using linear rods. It looks like they took the tool head from the K1, and it's a core XE. So I mean, it's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know what the price is. I feel like unless you, I don't know why you would get that over the A1 Mini, unless it's the bigger bed that you need, or again, if they end up releasing the source code and it's Clipper, and that's something that is a requirement for you, then I can see that. But from a purely like spec by spec basis to price point, I don't see why someone would get that over one of these. A quarter is a unit of currency. Yeah, quarter. John, this is where are we? Oh, I got my lucky quarter for tightening down the tripod, or the camera, the plate for the tripod. Hey everyone. Hey, what's up? Ostake. Get that Bambu wants to make an appliance printer to get more people into the hobby. Glad my Commodore T500 Monday time for a full-sized R2. I've got the T500 in the garage, and the fact that we found out that, again, the owners of this house are selling it, I'm like really trying to get the review, trying to light a fire under my butt to get that review done, because I don't know if I'll be able to move with that thing. It's big and it's heavy. It's a monster. That printer could really benefit from a beacon probe, because the bed is 500 millimeters. It's a fairly thin, PCB bed heater, although it is rigid mounted to, if I'm not mistaken, 2020 extrusions, which does really help to reinforce it. Similar to this, I mean, I talk about in my video on Saturday, but like the bed on this is really thin. It's shockingly thin. The actual heating portion, like the PCB, is only 2 millimeters thick. It's maybe one of the thinnest I've seen. However, they have it rigid mounted to a steel X frame underneath it that really helps to reinforce it. And it makes, without that reinforcement down below, I think that this print bed would have issues, but because it has that, it makes it surprisingly stiff. Then it has like 3 or 4 millimeters of insulation foam or insulation padding underneath it as well, and then the magnet on top. But yeah, the actual bed itself is 2 millimeters thick. It is not thick at all. It's so weird, like I have to weigh things in grams for shipping, but it prints the max amount allowed in pounds. That's funny. That is confusing. I'd love to at least be able to see the first block of text before the stream ends up ending later. Also, if anyone's wasn't here earlier and you haven't hit the like button, let's try to get to 200 likes. We're at 179, it looks like. Oh, Prusa Mini's 2 millimeters as well? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's a benefit of it as well. Like you're saying, it does have less weight, but I think it's a big part of why they also didn't want this bed to go above 80 Celsius, because that thin is going to mean it's going to be much easier for this bed to deform, especially if you're pumping it at like 100, 110 Celsius for printing with ABS or ASA. So I think that's, I mean, they haven't said that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's partially the reason why they don't want it to go above that temp. But yeah, I show in the video, I flip the thing over and you can see the X, the reinforced X steel plate underneath it, and it really does help stiffen this thing up. I would get a KE over an A1 if you don't need multicolor. A KE? What is that? Is that the new, oh, that's gotta be the new Crowdy one. It depends, Zombie. Because my issue is, Crowdy has, I've reviewed a lot of Crowdy printers over the last 4 years. or maybe longer. Since the Ender 3 was my first one that I reviewed for them. Like OG Ender 3. And my biggest issue is there's a lot of times where on paper, their printers look really good. And the specs are like, yeah, all right, this looks solid. But they end up butchering it. And it's usually in the firmware that's janky or just not well optimized, or profiles that aren't well optimized. And they leave it up to the community to correct it with all the community firmwares, which does end up happening. But for someone that was new to 3D printing, I wouldn't want them to have to go through flashing the firmware and all that stuff unless again, they're into that and they're getting this from the sake of like a hobbyist standpoint or something like that. Yeah, power cord's fixed, Nathan. There's I can show it on the clear, so, oh gosh, this desk is not big enough for less multitasking. So this is, on the clear one, you can see the power supply is underneath it. So yeah, it's permanently mounted. The thing I don't mind about it, the way they have it set up, is that because they have, and it's a small detail, but one that I think is cool, because where the cables come out is not flush with the outer portions. If you lean this thing backwards, you're not putting strain on where the cables come out. And that's something that I've done on accident. I actually think I damaged a printer one time by tilting it backwards and forgetting I had the power cable in or something like that. And it like crushed the power cable and screwed something up. So I like the fact that they have it at least a little bit further in, and it's a decently long power cable. But I guess, long story short, yes, it is a permanently attached. I'm not good at giving short answers. I'm very not good at giving short answers. Part fan is on the back, so it's a 50-15. You can't see it right now. Once the printhead moves, I can show it. But it's a 50-15, laying down on its side. So, I'll show in a sec. Definitely different than the S1 and Pro and V2. As to your experience, the SE is one of the best out of the box printers I've used. We're checking out. Oh, interesting. The Ender 3 SE. I haven't really looked heavily into the latest from them, other than the pictures they post on Twitter. So I'll take a look. No, it's Anycubic, right? That had. Is it Anycubic or Creality that has a nozzle probe now? Like basically where the nozzle goes back and touches a switch as well to get an offset. I think it might be Anycubic with their Cobra 2. I saw it somewhere, I just can't remember. For the community, I think the KE with Clipper, assuming it has been set up correctly, will be a good investment. But yeah, Creality is Creality. Yeah, I totally get it from the sake of like someone that doesn't want to be locked down. And again, if they give away, if they make it where you can actually get root access to the thing and they provide firmware like they're supposed to, then at least the community can upgrade it. But it's been such a mixed bag with them. I mean, even their, words are hard. I reviewed their Hallett 1 years ago now, and that resin printer was one of the nicest hardware-wise that I'd ever used at that point. I was like really blown away. But the firmware was bad and the slicer was awful. And so I gave it a pretty bad review, and I try to focus on the positive while listing the negative. I don't try to like really kick, like I try to just present the facts as much as possible and let the end user decide whether the good outweighs the bad for them, because some people apply or assign value more heavily towards certain things than others. And I was pretty rough on that review, the initial one, and I don't often revisit printers. Because I just don't have the time, like I just don't have the capability to revisit them. And there's so many new ones coming out from the manufacturers. But I ended up revisiting that one after having a ton of people reaching out to me over months saying, hey, Creality like finally did it right. And the experience was night and day difference. Creality actually spent the time and updated the firmware. It was really good. The slicer was working much better. Like it was a huge difference. And it's really bummed me out that that they're not doing that all the time, because it makes such a big difference. All it takes is one person to buy a printer, have a terrible experience, and then get completely turned off from 3D printing or their company, you know, their company or 3D printing. And it's something that can be, oh no, what is that? Is that a foot? Did I lose a foot on the printer? I think I lost a rubber foot from moving this thing. It's something that can be avoided. They just spent more time on the details. Both do, but Crowdy's implementation is better and it uses a strain gauge. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think the Cobra is the one that I saw, but that's cool to know. That's good to know. Cobra Max, the Cobra Max 2, I know the bed is, that's huge. Does anyone here know when we're gonna hear more about the Ender 3 V3? It's not even on the website yet, I don't know. Used to be into the upgrade scene, micro Swiss hot ends, real touch. Topics and Cobra went, why have I been wasting my time? Yeah, again, it just depends. Like, I enjoy building a 3D printer, like a full kit. Like, I mean, me and Steve just finished a month and a half of 2 4-hour streams a week building a printer, and I loved it. It was so fun. It was challenging. I learned a lot. I cried a lot internally. Like, it was just a really like a journey. But I understand that like that's not everybody, and it's probably a much smaller demographic of the entire user base of 3D printing than I even think it is. And so it just depends on what you want. And again, that's why I like having the Bambu printers, because if I just want to print a thing, I know it's going to work every time, pretty much, right? And I really like the Voron printers that I have because they can perform very, very well. But I also have full control of every single element of them if I want it, but not everyone wants it. So yeah, again, with 3D printing, I know a lot of the 3D printing community is very opinionated, and you know, it is what it is. It's been this way for pretty much the entire time I've been in it, although I feel like it's gotten worse over the years. But the thing I've always liked about 3D printing is that like it isn't a one shoe fits all. It's such a like, depending on use case and budget and application, well, I guess the same as use case, but like there's a whole laundry list of things that make up, is this a good printer for me, or is this the right printer for me? And that's awesome. So I think there's still plenty of space for multiple manufacturers to fill the various gaps, you know, or the various sort of what's your opinion on the Neptune 4? I did a full review on the Neptune 4 Pro if you want to check on the main channel. Elegoo does not do Auto Z on the 4. No. It uses an inductive probe. Probably pivoted to open source and focus the resources. I'm missing chat. Sorry, I should have called their printer the Monkey one because those rails look like they're aluminum, not stainless steel. Is that a thing? No, they're steel. They are steel. I don't know where my oh, there it is. Magnet again. It's steel. What Crowdy needs to do is what Prusa Bambu Labs to do, support printers and not release a new one every week. I completely agree. Completely agree. Funny thing is all the new models are adding Clipper, but be aware it's closed source. Yeah. It's not good. It's fine that they're adding Clipper. It's fine they're adding Clipper, and I don't mind it at all. In a lot of instances, it's great. But not providing root access and at least a copy of the configs is jacked. It's awful. It is really, really awful. Did you ever review the Crowdy Hallett with the blue case cover? I don't think so, no. I think when I was reviewing the Hallett, they had 2 colors and it was orange or red, and I believe mine was red. Gotta go see you next week. All right, thanks for hanging out, Lukey. I think every community has opinionated people. Well, at least. How is the printer able to print so quickly? Rigid, super rigid, right? Linear rails, linear guides, direct drive, fairly lightweight direct drive, decent flow hot end. I said input shaping, I think. Decent cooling, 50-15, it's not bad. Yeah, I guess that's, and yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. You put the magnets on the bolt, did I? There we go. Not on the bolt. To be fair, it was like the third time I've been asked that, and so I've been placing it all over. But yeah, they're not aluminum. They are. I promise they are not. That's funny. That's very much my luck. All right, no Swatch trucks. I'm out of here. Cheers. Yeah, we're gonna call it soon here. I think Aaron said we're having dinner in in 30 minutes. So I'm gonna probably end it here soon. I can post a photo. I'm not gonna let this thing print all the way through again. It's like another 17 or 18 hours, and I'm filming a video on some different input shaping stuff on the Mercury 1.1s, and it's currently blocking my chair, so I need to get this off here. But I do want to, let's at least, can we see? The text is starting to show up. It's showing up okay. Honestly, this was probably not the move for a multicolor model, especially the way I painted it. I only painted the inner face of the text, and I should have probably done inner face and all inner walls, but I was trying to paint this thing quickly while we were on stream. But at least we've gotten to see it do color swaps live, I suppose. And it's, you know, doing them well. But this, again, it's like an 18 or 19 hour print with lots of color swaps, and I did the text awkwardly. That's on me. Has anyone asked about the wheels on the y-axis? They look like they're rubber in the other videos I've watched. No, no one's asked. Let me kill this print really quick. We can take a quick look. If I remember, I don't know that they're not visible at all. Yeah, they're not visible at all. We'll flip the bed over so I can show the steel bracket. That'll be like the last thing we'll do. But I think I saw in an image that they showed they were metal wheels, and the fact that they're using linear guides, I would imagine they are steel wheels. At least that's what's been on every other printer I've seen using them. But they're completely enclosed on this, which I imagine is probably to keep dust and filament off them. Let's see, can I multitask here? Stop. Okay, stopping this real quick. Gantry. What about the gantry? All right, I believe it's gonna unload. If not, let's unload. No, it's already unloaded. Oops, what am I doing? Why not use a rail on Y? I have no idea. I have no idea. The only thing I could think of is that maybe they did testing and determined this was more rigid. Because, I mean, even if, I don't know, man. Because this is a really wide rail. This is a 15mm rail, and I feel like if they used that there, it would have been fine. But this is, you know, substantially wider than that rail. So I'm wondering if they tried that and determined that this was actually a more rigid solution, being that it's wider than like what a rail would have been. But I don't know. It's a great question. I can't imagine that it's cost related. It could be, but I just can't. I would think that this is fairly comparable, considering you've got to have 4, you know, wheels and this compared to 1 linear rail. I don't know. It's a great question. All right, let's move this. Yeah, the V Minion is super rigid too. So, yeah, no worries, Pex. Sorry, I should have spent more time painting it. I might be able to print this or something similar on another time, but at least we got to see your cool trophy. Also, have fun at the event. I like hot, but I don't know that I would partake in the pepper eating. I don't know, unless maybe if you had like a mild one. Camera is super crooked. Anyways, let's unplug these tubes so I don't have anything connected when I flip this over. All right, move our exercise bike off the, oh, no. I'm tethered. There we go. That's right, we don't have wireless connection, do we? All right. All right, put this on the ground. Let's turn this, unplug this. So we lost a silicone foot on this. Let's really quickly, here it goes. Yeah, that's not gonna stay. Okay, so bed stuff. How did I do this? I'm trying to think of how I got the footage of this for the video. I think I actually had the camera up high. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can get the camera up high. It's probably not going to be as exciting as I'd hoped. But yeah, so if I move this down, okay, lighting is going to be awesome too. I don't think I'm going to be able to show this very well. Well, I can at least show this. So again, bed is super thin on this guy, and what really stiffens it up is this X bracket that goes over the entire thing. This is steel. I think it looks like it's 2 millimeters thick, roughly, and it's like a sheet steel. Like you can see where they basically bent the arms up on it. But if it wasn't for that, this bed would be quite flimsy. It adds a lot of rigidity to it. As far as the wheels go, though, they're completely encased. You can kind of see it. They're completely encased. The steel bed frame looks like a DJI drone. It totally does. It totally does. Yeah, the wheels are completely encased in these plastic housing, and I don't see. I imagine they probably just snap on, snap off, but I don't see any obvious way to do it, so I'm gonna not break them. But I'd be shocked if they weren't steel wheels as well. You can kind of see them a little bit better there. But yeah, they're completely encased. So, this does seem a lot like a Beam. Yeah, this is super rigid. I mean, I didn't know, like, when Bambu initially reached out about this guy, they gave me pretty ambiguous information. I didn't exactly know what I was getting for quite a while. And then when I saw it, I was like, interesting. But and I've said it before, and I'm saying it again, I'm not really a big fan of cantilever printers. I really am not. Like, the Prusa Mini to me, I know some people love it. I did not like that printer. And I never was big on the Ender 2. I love my V Minion because it's just way overkill tank-like. This reminds me of that. This is by no means a V Minion. I don't want to say that it is, but it's very, for its size, I feel like they've done it right. Like the beefy linear rails and this Z tower is quite stiff, and where it meets to the bed, like, or where it meets to the bottom plate, they did a great job with it. But generally speaking, cantilevers are not my choice. So again, I just think they did a good job with this. And the motors will prevent this from going faster. Okay, KP3S is not a bad printer. I did a review on that printer, and I will say they are. It's not a bad printer. Again, it's just the whole support. You need a very rigid, very rigid X and Z on a cantilever printer, and this provides that. V Minion provides that. KP3S is pretty solid too. I won't say it's not. I don't know if the motors are going to be an issue. I've also heard that they're going to be implementing what makes these quiet on the other printers potentially, and if that's the case, I don't think the motors are going to be a limiting factor. I mean, this thing, we printed earlier at 10K acceleration, 500 millimeters a second. Was it pretty? Hell no. But the biggest limitation was actually the hot end. The hot end caps at, they have their profile capped at 22 cubic millimeters a second, and so I don't think it's the motion that's going to limit you. I think it's the flow rate of the hot end, actually. My KP3S is a VZ bot now. Nice. For how cheap it is, it prints great. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm actually upgrading mine to the Snake Oil XY KP3S mod thing that gives it a Sherpa and a direct drive and belt tensioners and a few other things. You don't advise building a 500 millimeter cantilever printer. That sounds awful. Unless you go with like just the beefiest frame ever. But no, I don't recommend it. Okay, I think we're probably gonna call it. We have been, hey, that's not, there's a camera in front of me. Yeah, some camera inception going on here. Let's move you out of the way. Yeah, I think we are going to call it tripping over isopropyl alcohol. I've got everything figured out. Don't worry, everyone. I think we're gonna call it. It's been, what time did we start streaming at? 5, right? 3 hours. We're 3 hours in. I think that is, I think that's pretty good. Again, for everyone that, Steve's taking off. Bye, Steve. Thank you for hanging out. So yeah, for everyone that wasn't here earlier, we're going to be sticking with our Wednesday streams. Times are just going to shift. We've pretty much always streamed at noon Pacific Standard Time every Wednesday for the last year and a half, with like some super rare exceptions. There's 2 things that happened. One, Erin is now working. She's been working as a full-time mom, but she's now back and working, and so her schedule is not set, and it will be rotating pretty much every Wednesday, or like every week. She might not work some Wednesdays at all, which will be nice for streaming, but I will probably be setting the time, and it's going to be changing slightly, but Wednesdays it'll still be on. And then the other thing is that the people that own this house let us know that they're going to be listing it, and so if it does sell, I don't exactly know what that's going to look like for us for the time being. So just stay tuned. It's going to be on a week by week thing. And if you do want to make these, again, they'll be Wednesdays, and I will do my best to keep everybody informed and schedule them. And the best place to see if they're scheduled is to subscribe or be in the Discord. So on that note, I'm going to take off. Thank you everybody for hanging out and hopefully having a good time. I think it was a fun stream, and we got to check out a lot of different things. So next week we will, unless we're doing the final VZBot stream, which I'll know probably this weekend, next Wednesday we'll be continuing on the Cyborg Trident build. So on that note, thank you everyone. Thank you Polymaker for sponsoring the giveaway, and for all of our members and donations and chat just hanging out and just all around being awesome. And on that note, I will see you guys hopefully next week. Bye everybody. Have a wonderful night.